fact, we had a semi-modern iMac came out so bad.
Well, thank you. I thought I would.
I've always hated working on iMacs because of tables and everything. I've learned to do it. I've learned to do it. Especially previous. And the modern ones, they're actually easier to work on. The modern ones, once you cut the glue all the way around, there's not a lot you can do, but you can switch out the wireless card, add RAM, change out the hard drive. No RAM.
You can sacrifice really much. But
Oh, it's good. I do wait a long time for it. Somebody else says.
Alright, I recognize the forum for our next session. We have just concluded with convention committee reports. We're now in the section of motions related to the state.
I move that we strike Louisville from the list, and that we, because of the 30-06 that they have, and
thank you very much.
We informed them that we have excluded them for precisely that reason.
Second.
Well, yes, definitely. I'm going to share that information.
Louisville from the three that we're looking at.
Thank you so much.
Because of the 30-06 requirement that they posted, and that we secondarily that we informed them that we did strike them officially.
Yeah, Gmail.
For that reason, so that they know that for the future.
Okay, so let me repeat that back to make sure we're all on the same page. The motion is destruction from consideration for location for the state convention.
Yes.
And that the state party sent communication to the hotel itself.
Thank you.
Telling them why they were not, why they're not.
That they were not stricken for their 30 specifically for the 30-06.
Okay. All right. Do you have that? Okay. And we have had a second on that. I'll go ahead and, well, point.
I believe Lauren was just on the phone with the general manager at Pflugerville over this very issue. So before we take a vote, I would like to allow Lauren to speak.
I can give an update if anybody's interested.
So your question is will Lauren give an update on her?
I was going to say she's right now on the phone, but she has since gotten.
Lauren, can you please whatever information you have?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. So I just talked to the general manager, Chris Kiffett, at the Marriott in Pflugerville, and he said, he clarified the issue. He said that it is a Marriott, corporate-wide policy that if, even if you have a concealed carry license, they do want you to keep it in your vehicle. He said, but they don't frisk people at the door and that kind of thing. They actually don't really like the idea of the open carry because they're saying, we're going to have families with children, and unless they're a peace officer or licensed, we wouldn't want people to open carry. And they did also say, though, that it might be a different story if we were buying out the whole thing and had all 40 rooms booked. It might be a different issue if it was just our group, but because there might be families and children there, that they would ask that people do not open carry, or if you have a concealed carry license, you would leave it in your vehicle, secured in your vehicle. That was their clarification.
Sticking by, would they be willing to take the sign down? Because if they leave the sign up, it's still a violation for those that carry. Correct.
He said that it's pretty much all of the Marriotts that have that policy. So.
All right, so we have a motion on the floor to be made and seconded. Do you want to speak to your motion?
No, I mean, I'll refer back to what you just said. Even if they say they're not going to frisk us, it's still in effect, and because it's a corporate policy, he will not have the flexibility to overrule corporate policy. So anybody who carries could be guilty of a trespass, and some people wouldn't want to take that risk. Just in case.
Is there any further? Okay. Yeah, this is the motion. For consideration. Is there any more to vote on? Is there any objection?
Actually, as far as the date on that one, I'm looking it up right now. Unless it is a location specified below, a 30.6 or 30.7 sign violation is a class C misdemeanor punishable by color fine. So those of us who are CHL, who decide to carry illegally, because that is what we're doing, whether or not they decide to risk us, if a patron sees us concealed carry, and say something shows, print, which can happen, you can be arrested right there on the spot. You charged with a misdemeanor class C. You will lose your license to carry. I would think as a party, we can encourage people to break the law. Under 30.6, I think that might be bad.
Okay.
Commissioner, we know that there are corporate policies for the other hotel chains that mirror this, and they just don't. They like, do you see what I'm saying? The other corporations are only 30.7 policies and just Marriott's in general, which would mean no Marriott in any of the other locations either.
My understanding is that was Marriott corporate policy, but I have a point of information also, sir. I'd like to see the actual, like, has this motion that's being discussed, I haven't seen the motion at all. I'd like to be able to see the wording of the motion before I can vote on it.
Point of order, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Would a motion regarding a motion that hasn't been made yet be in order right now?
A motion
Or
regarding,
a motion that there has not been a formal motion made, there's just been an informational report.
Report given, but not an actual motion being made to
are you talking about
consider.
this motion?
I'm talking about, has there been a formal motion being made, presented before this body today to say we're going to vote on Pflugerville or Grapevine or Houston? That motion hasn't been actually made yet.
So you're asking if it's an order to strike from consideration since we're not.
There actually hasn't been a motion.
Yeah, so no, I do think that this is an order to say that we are limiting our options to everything except for this. We are not going to consider something. I mean, a body can take action and make that kind of decision, just like we could say we're going to select from these three.
Thank you.
For information.
Confirm with the other two hotels, they absolutely do allow concealed carry, or we just based on the sign?
I can answer that.
Yeah, Tom did some research. Can you give?
Yeah, I have visited the West Chase, and the law is, if it is allowed, if you don't have a 30-06 sign. And I can tell you that I have looked at the West Chase Hilton, and they have told us there is not, I did not see, and there is not a 30-06 sign at the West Chase Hilton.
Okay, thank you. All right. There, 30. Okay, is this the motion?
Yes.
Point of information, Mr. Chair.
For information.
If we discuss with Pflugerville the possibility, if they take the sign down, is that something that they would consider doing? That means that we would be giving them this.
It doesn't sound like it, but that's not. I can't ultimately answer that question. That's gonna be a question for the hotel, but it doesn't sound that way. Is this motion correct
Should we make
as
it
written?
bigger so I can-
Increase the font size. Should do it. Mark Smith. And, Councilman. I read the resolution. Yeah. See, this makes sense, it's written.
One more size bigger. would be good.
It's just.
Right click, and if you'll go above it, up. All right.
Yeah, for our libertarian.
That's much better.
It makes sense.
Okay.
It's kind of
All right. Is this motion as presented correct?
Yes.
Okay. See, Ms. Bailey.
I'd like to make an amendment to the motion.
Okay. What's for an amendment?
I would like for it to say, move to strike all Marriott properties from consideration of the convention, and to send a communication to the corporate policy person stating that they are not in consideration because of their 30-06 policy.
Okay. I think we're getting the wording here.
Replacing Pflugerville with property.
Point of information.
I just want to know if we actually really that the Hilton West case website. I'm looking at it currently right now, and it does have 3006 and a 3007. It says license holders are trespassing if they do carry on the property.
I couldn't hear what was said.
So
The firearm policy for the Houston West Chase Hotel is a 3006 and a 3007. You're trespassing even if you have a license.
No, I can tell you that there is no 30-06 signs anywhere on the West Chase property.
It's a policy on their.
Okay, but that's not legal. You have to have the sign up, and the sign is not up. By the way, Hilton owns Embassy Suites as well.
we're going to, at this point, we're kind of slipping into debate. I would like to take a minute while we get the wording up there and remind the committee that a point of information is used to ask a question when you're unclear of something, not to present information. In fact, the latest edition of Robert's Rules actually calls it under two names, the more modern one being a request for information. So we could use that correctly and not slip into debate on the matter itself. Okay. All right. Is that correct? Is that, who made the amendment? I'm sorry. Brett, is that your amendment as you?
30-06 policy.
And point of information.
1 second, I'll come back just a second. Did we ever get a second to this motion?
I second it.
Okay, we did have a second. Okay, I heard a point of information.
Is it stated anywhere in our rules or bylaws that we will not do business, official party business in a facility that has firearms regulations?
No, we do not have a rule on
So
that.
this is something that we're just deciding as a body that is going to eliminate all these properties.
Yes, that is correct. I'm going to recognize Mr. Golston.
Well, based on what I'm hearing now, what the purpose behind this motion might be, basically might eliminate all three candidates that we have. So it might possibly be a matter of if we're passing this on to back to the committee rather than making a decision today, basically stage that only consider the most restrictive licensing rules if they're at the same level as the higher ones. I should probably phrase that better, but I'm not actually making that motion as a motion to change it at this time. I'm simply suggesting maybe that's what we should do. at this point.
Okay, I'll take that as debate. Ms. Glass?
Call the question.
All pending questions or the current one? And just this amendment? No, we're in debate right now, so we haven't called for that. Yeah. So we have a motion to call this current amendment. It requires 2/3 vote and is not debatable. All in favor of calling the question on this amendment, raise your hand. All opposed? We'll proceed to a vote on this one. All in favor of the amendment, not adopting, but just the amendment, raise your hand. All opposed? The amendment passes. We are now on to the main motion, and we can, if there's any debate.
Call the question. Objection.
There's an objection to calling the question? No, she just called the current amendment. There is objection to calling the question. All in favor of calling the question, raise your hand. All opposed? Oh, let's try that again. All in favor of calling the question? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. All opposed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The motion fails. All right. Is there anyone else who has any more debate on this?
I do. I feel like restricting access and business with organizations that have 30-6, 30-7 policies where, as a libertarian, we're all about principle. We're also limiting to a grave extent the facilities that we're going to have available to us, because most major hotel companies in the entire United States have these kinds of rules. They don't want people showing up with guns. And are we going to make it so that the cost of our convention is going to be prohibitively expensive? Because if we do something like this and we make this a standard thing that we follow, we're going to set the stage so that we can't go to Hilton. We can't go to Marriott.
I thought we called the question.
It failed.
He asked for more
Oh, I'm
debate.
sorry, I
Thank you. So I really think that maybe a better stance on this, as far as being libertarian and affecting change, instead of just saying we're not going to give you our business, we start petitioning these businesses to change their rules instead.
Ms. Wyatt?
Yes, I just also want to echo what the scripture said, and also want to point out that any of these venues could add the sign after the fact, and that unless it's in our contract with the venue, so if we restrict ourselves to all Marriotts, on the assumption that we could get with any of these other hotels, that's a faulty assumption, and so I think that we need to really think about this, like she said, if we're going to restrict ourselves in the future from all other future conventions on down the line, years and years from now, that we're never going to use any Marriott property ever, we're going to really restrict ourselves. So, I think that's an important point to keep in mind, that we do not have clarification from the other hotels that this would be an issue as well.
Okay. I've heard two against this motion. Is anyone in favor of this motion want to debate? Point of order.
If this motion passes, it would not restrict our selection of convention locations from this point forward. It would only restrict our selection of convention locations for this particular convention.
I'll take that as a point of information, but yes, our rules specifically say any traditions or motions, except for what's in our policy manual, are rescinded at the end of the convention. So we're only restricting ourselves now, and furthermore, we could move to rescind something previously considered if we wanted to. We go to Mr. Watts.
Yes. So speaking to this motion, a lot of the arguments I've heard against it have been, what I'm hearing are extrapolations for the future and concerns about, are we going to restrict all hotels with this core policy? But I just want us to stay grounded on how the motion is wording. We're clearly only talking about Marriott properties for this convention. If you're for that and think that's an issue and a stance that we want to take for this convention, vote in favor for it. If you're against that, vote against it. But let's not make points about what this motion is not moving to do.
I'm going to take one more in favor, and then I'll start alternating. Mr. Ford.
2.1.c from the Libertarian Party of Texas platform. Self-defense is an inherent individual right and must not be restricted or impeded. Therefore, the Libertarian Party of Texas supports the right of individuals to keep and bear arms in a manner consistent with the non-aggression principle. As a CHL holder myself, I grin and bear it when organizations have a 30-07 sign, because if I didn't, you would definitely restrict yourself. A 30-07 sign basically means you can't open carry, but it still says you can carry a weapon. You still have the right, which LP Texas believes in, to protect yourself. A 30-06 sign strips that right from the individual. I will also remind members of the body what happened nationally last year when the Republican Party of Texas held their event in an area that had a 30-06 sign. It became a statewide joke and then became a national joke because it showed the hypocrisy of the Republican Party to what their statements of beliefs were versus what they were willing to settle for. And so given that our principle is self-defense, 30-06, and to have events of a 30-06 is hypocritical to our statement of beliefs.
All right. In favor? I'm going to Mr. Spivey over here.
Well, actually, what I'd like to talk about is, I think that there is some question on Hilton Houston Westchase, and it's probably so that Tom or Kathy didn't see the notice, but looking at their website, it does say that they are a 30.06 facility, and the Embassy Suites is 30.07, period. What I might recommend is that we get some clarification by an actual communication with the hotel before we make our decision here, because that could basically give us just one choice here, which I'm in favor of, by the way. So
are you making some kind of motion to either lay this on the table or postpone it, or are we? Or is that
could I would like to make a motion to postpone this until we can verify the 30.06 of both Westchase and Embassy Suites?
It's not been verified.
Uh,
I've got the website pulled up.
I do too.
I'm a little concerned about that particular postponement because it's not to a definite time, and there's some vagueness. Maybe a motion to lay on the table or even recess while a quick call is made.
A 10-minute recess?
Motion for a 10-minute recess.
Second.
Second. Is there any objection to it?
Objection.
There is objection. Do we want to go into debate on this? No debate? Okay. All in favor of a 10-minute recess, raise your hand. All opposed? That failed. All right. Thank you. Ms. Glass?
This motion, if you want to decrease term at our convention, we hold it at a hotel that the front door says it has a 30.06. They will, people that have signed up and paid money will come and they will go away and demand to use money, and rightfully so. This is very common for Marriott. This is Marriott's corporate policy. They're very anti-gun. It is rare for other hotels. It is non-existent for Hilton. I don't know what's on the website. We're in a Hilton. This is set by corporate policy. There's no sign here. People are carrying here, and legally so. So Hilton and Tom and I have been there. We have looked at it. We are trying to look before we go anywhere to see 30.6, 30.7. You see it like that. We've been around looking for it anyway, not just in nature. It's not there. So they got some faulty information on the website, maybe, but the website doesn't matter. A phone call like that does not matter. It's what's posted on the door. And as of yesterday, at Hilton, 30.6 was not posted on the door. So this is something that we could do that's here and now and before this decision.
Want to go back to Ms. Jones?
Speaking to democracy, if the body is going to move in this direction, then I think that we should consider saving any property. Because if you just specify Marriott, there's no reason for that. If anyone has 30-odd and they have an issue with it, then it should be any property. It shouldn't just be Marriott properties. If you are going to go that direction, then we can't be children.
Okay. Are you making an amendment to that, or are you just making debate? Yeah.
You're allowed to.
Yeah, I'll move to amend, strike Marriott and add after properties that's located in open area.
Second.
Strike all property, yes. Okay. Yes, and we are to the main motion, so that is not, so yeah, thank you. All right, so there's been a motion and there has been a second on this. Do you want to speak to your amendment?
Just the fact that if this is the way that the body feels, that we should stay honest as possible. If there are other hotels we'll consider and have the same policy.
Is there someone to speak against this amendment?
Before that, you can take it to word.
Yeah, I'm going to speak against this because then it seems silly that we're going to send, our LP Texas party is going to send communication to all corporate offices. It doesn't seem productive anymore. The original intention of this motion was, hey, we have these three choices. This one we think is going to be a problem. We want to strike and let them know why we didn't select them. Now this is becoming some big policy thing that our stance that our party's taking. I don't think it's worth the time.
Okay, is there someone to speak in favor? Yes.
I actually like what you just said. But now with this clarification, and I think this is the clarification that's missing, it is not legally binding a 30-6 or 30-7 unless it's posted on the door. Okay, just so we're clear, for those of you who don't carry or aren't licensed, it has to be posted physically on the door in a very obvious place. So websites doesn't matter. But to your motion, and keeping with our policy and our platform, any place that does have a 30-6 that we do business with is very hypocritical. So I would say I would be in favor of this if it is related to posting, not just website, but posting, because that's the legally binding thing that we have to worry about as CHL folks. And to speak to Nathan's point, this is talking about ones that have been considered. So right now there are 3 hotels being considered. So this does not mean we have to send a letter to every hotel in Texas. It's these 3.
Real quick, I guess I'll offer some clarification on that. As of this point, we don't have any motion considering any hotel. So I don't know that this would necessarily restrict that, but I would just say that. Miss, do you okay, Ms. Iros?
Well, I mean, I myself am a CHL holder, and if I see it on the website, that is not legally binding, but I call the property and ask, and I've done that twice, and 2 times I've done that, the time went up the very next day. If I'm gonna come to the convention with my handgun, I'm gonna do the same thing at this hotel, and they very well may put the sign up as a result of my phone call. So I think if we're gonna make some type of a rule like this, we can't just exclude one property. We need to be across the board and realize that if it's on the website, someone's going to alert them to the fact that they don't have their ducks in a row.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Or a 30 item, whatever we decide to do. Has to be part of the program. Nothing prevents it. We have any sign now. Have to just follow the county talking about people showing up and meeting.
More information.
Those conventions that are doing their stuff specifically for our convention.
Okay, is that a question? Yeah. Okay, well that's debate. So yeah. In the back, I see Ms. Valier.
Part of this whole discussion has been about agriculture perspective on this happening. You're saying that you were there and you didn't see a sign. There has been reports that I'm, getting right now that as of this year, 2017, that there was people who've been there who saw signs just to the right side of the entrance. So, I mean, I just think that we cannot just base all of our decisions based on their report that they didn't come in to see a sign when they were there, when we have other people who are saying there's a sign to the right side of the entrance, 30 out 75. So,
Ms. Bailey.
I would like to move to amend the motion to state basically what Mark said instead of don't do business with these people? Could we rephrase it to say, move that the consideration of the convention location be given only to properties that will, Kathy can help you with the legal language, will not put up a 30-6 sign while we're there?
We could do that. Unfortunately, we can't do it right now because we're actually in this amendment. We would have to get back to the main motion in order to do it.
This comes as a point of order to point out that this might work as a substitute, replace the motion to amend with a motion to substitute.
A motion to substitute is more or less a strike and add for the entire body of the paragraph.
Yes.
And since we're only considering this amendment, you could only do that with this part of it. I see here on the, we have like a big strikeout, like we took out a bunch in the end. I don't remember a motion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we need to have the word 30-6.
Point of information, yes. Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. That would be, I guess, to the body in general, but I don't really know that that'd be in order to. I'm just trying to see. I think everybody who's here, so Mr. Yeah, no, we just strike Marriott. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, that's all.
Very short time for getting the convention nailed down. If we want to sit there and fine tune exactly what we want, might as well just skip the convention because we will never fine tune it. So they get perfect for all people.
Here.
Thank you.
So let's just drop this thing and get something done.
Ms. Glass?
Point of order.
Second.
Is that to call just the amendment or all pending questions? Okay. There's been a motion to call the question on the amendment. All in favor of calling the question, raise your hand. All opposed? That passes. I heard a point of information. Okay. We are now going to proceed to a vote on the amendment. All in favor of this amendment, raise your hand.
Could you read the amendments for me?
Yes.
Point of information.
What is the text of the amendment that we're voting on?
To strike the word Marriott.
So that it would read, move to strike all properties from consideration for the convention venue. And that the state parties into
This
communication.
whole
So
thing.
we would not, so point of information, we would not be allowed to choose any property to hold our convention on?
Correct.
Better 30-6.
But that's what it's.
Well,
Yep.
so
Yep.
it would seem that way, yes.
Yeah.
We just moved to call the question.
That was
Yeah.
just the amendment, though.
Yeah, just on the amendment. So all in favor of the amendment, raise your hand.
Don't do it.
The amendment is, okay, let me.
Could one read the text with the amendment in it?
Yes, I
so
can.
that I can know what I'm voting
Yeah.
on.
So we are moving to strike the word Marriott so that it would read, move to strike all properties from consideration for the convention venue, and that the state party sends a communication to the corporate office stating that they were not considered because of their 30-6 policy. So that is the wording as we have it now.
Point of information.
Point of information.
So is it my understanding, Mr. Chairman, that if we adopt this amendment, we can't have our convention anywhere the way that's worded right now?
No, that would not be it. If we adopt the amendment, we would just be considering not having our convention anywhere. Okay, all in favor of this?
The statement that the statement that I originally made was not typed correctly. I said that after properties, they were supposed to input that we're giving. And it was so carried.
Yes.
That's why it sounds so confusing. That was not happening.
What do you have in your minutes, Mr. Secretary?
Well, here's the problem. They keep changing.
Okay.
This is why we like written motion.
Yes. Yes.
I'm sorry, this is not me, but when I go through this and make the minutes during meetings, they're patchwork.
Because one person changes it, and they verbally change it, get organized. Figure
Yes.
out what we're doing. That's what y'all's responsibility
So,
Gosh,
Mr.
yes.
Secretary, what is the
Thank you.
wording you recorded?
is. Well, I had a previous argument when they were moving to the
But
I'm
what,
going with this word.
that's what you have. Okay.
That's not what was said, though.
Yeah, that's not
Well,
what she
if-
That
said.
was
I
not
remember
what
what
was
she said.
vocalized.
If it was,
I have it written from the original decision.
okay, hold up, everybody. Once it's stated and before the body, that is how it is. Now, we can vote this down and present another amendment, but at this point, this is the amendment we have before us.
Point
Okay?
of order.
Point of order.
How can this be the amendment when what was stated is not what is being put up there? Which is what we're being told that we're supposed to be voting on, even though that's not what was stated to begin with.
It doesn't say why we're doing this consideration order.
So
It is the
as
amendment
was
as-
stated, that's not what was put on the
It
screen.
is the amendment as stated by the chair and put to the body. That is what gets voted on. If this is not clear and not what was done, then I give my apologies, but at this point, we can vote this down, but we have moved to call the question and we can then consider another amendment. All in favor of this amendment, raise your hand. All opposed? The amendment fails.
Thank you.
Mr. Glass,
I call all previous questions.
call all previous questions. So we will move to a vote on this if we adopt to call all previous questions. Is there any objection? There is objection. All in favor of calling all previous questions, raise your hand. Yes, we can. It is move to strike all Marriott properties from consideration for the convention venue, and that the state parties send a communication to the corporate office stating that they were not considered because of their 30-06 policy.
So there's only one question to be called.
That is the only thing.
Is this information?
Point of information.
This amendment?
It is, okay, you can amend something after a question's been called. You cannot debate the amendment, so it becomes rather difficult. So, motion to call the question. All in favor of calling the question, raise your hand. All opposed? We are now going to proceed to a vote on the question. Ms. Glass?
I move to amend the question to replace policy with notice.
Move to amend to replace policy with notice. Point of order.
In fact, that's what it was before.
Yes. I read Robert's rules differently, that you can make amendments. You cannot debate any of the amendments.
Policy was an amendment which was turned down. Notice was there before.
Okay. Well, as I stated the question earlier, that's what I read, and that's what was said. So, we're now moving to a vote on the amendment. Yes. To substitute this amendment with your amendment, so what's your amendment?
I also emailed it to you.
My computer's over there. Oh, let me. All right.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
Yes, it is. It's terrible. I'm very frustrated whoever made these motions.
Who
We-
even started this?
Well, I'm not gonna point, no, it wasn't him. But, yeah, I'm very frustrated that I didn't first get to make my motion. It's already been submitted to the secretary
Well,
to
who
vote.
started this motion?
I'm not gonna point fingers,
Who
but
started
It's
this?
an amendment.
You did? Just for the one?
yeah.
Just delete.
Yeah, that's why, that's why you don't do it this way.
Alright.
Just have everyone vote.
Move to vote
I know.
to vote.
Yes. That
But
doesn't
on the
mean that
following
that doesn't
cities
mean
and
that this is
states-
out of order. It just means that it's a waste of our time, unfortunately.
That would be out of order to this. The motion was to, and I'll read it. Move to vote on the following cities for the location of the 2018 LP State Convention: DFW Metro, Austin Metro, Houston Metro. We are now considering an amendment, not the main motion. You cannot substitute that for a small change on the end. Okay. Without debate, we will now proceed to vote on this amendment. All in favor of this amendment, raise your hand. All opposed to this amendment. The amendment passes. We'll now proceed to the vote on the main motion. All in favor of...
Substitute a motion?
You're going to make a substitute amendment?
Oh, okay. I thought we were voting on the main motion.
No, no, we're...
Okay.
So,
Well, now I would like to substitute the motion.
I'm going to... I recognize Ms. Bailey. Ms. Bailey.
I would like to substitute the motion just to direct the convention committee to consider 30-06 and ensure that those rights are given to us in the contract with the eventual venue.
Point of order.
Point of order.
This has been a called question. We voted on the amendment to the called question.
Yes.
Now we have to vote on the question that's been.
There's now an amendment on that question. All in favor of this? Well, hold up. Let's get it up here and correct. Yes. Yes.
Would Ms. Bailey be willing to consider a friendly adjustment? Because I had that in mind. Along with a little bit more. You can read the whole text.
The motion has not been stated by the chair. If y'all can figure that out before this.
Sure.
Yes, Mr. Gary. Motion to adjourn is always in order. Second. All in favor of adjourning, raise your hand. All opposed? We are not adjourned.
You applied for the position.
No, I think we're just getting it up here. Yeah, okay. Ms. Bailey, is this the motion you're presenting?
I'm sorry. The proposed alternate wording would be, and will in contract remove their 30-06 sign for the entire weekend. I would prefer not this wording in case they don't have that convenience.
Okay. So is this wording correct then? Yes. Is there a second to this? I hear no second. Okay.
Point of information.
Yeah. You're seconding? Okay.
Point of information.
Point of information.
Is the effect of this substitution means that we will not pick a venue in this? Thank you.
Arthur seconded. Yes.
So it's now been seconded?
Yes.
Okay. Is if this passes, that means we will not pick a venue today? Is that what this is?
Committee to consider 30-06 and ensure that those rights are given to us in a contract with the eventual venue. It would seem difficult to pick something right now if we're doing it like this, unless the contract already. Point of information.
I thought that the only decision we were making today would be the location, the city of the convention, and not the actual hotel.
That's correct.
None of that has been stated definitely. This committee could choose to decide whatever it does or doesn't want to.
Okay, thank you.
So, Ms. Glass? Oh, it's already been called. We just can't debate. All right, so we have a second on this. All in favor of the amendment, raise your hand. All opposed? It fails. Out of the main motion. All in favor of the main motion, raise your hand. All opposed? That passes.
I'd like to make
Division?
a motion.
You're moving for a counted vote.
Yes.
All in favor of a counted vote, raise your hand. All opposed? Oh, they're flashing here. All in favor of a counted vote, raise your hand.
This is just whether or not they have a counted vote.
Yeah. All opposed, raise your hand. That fails.
Mr. Chair?
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion that's been submitted last night to the secretary for us to vote on choosing a venue city.
That's out of order. We have a motion on the floor.
We just passed it. It is not out of order.
I lost track. Did that pass or fail?
That passed.
Pass, thank you.
I'm sorry, Don. Did the motion to count the vote pass or fail? I thought you said it passed.
The motion to count failed, the motion passed.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, and you have emailed,
Wait,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I think I got confused on what I was.
Okay. The motion right now has passed. This is a done deal. And there was a motion to count the vote. It failed. All right. And you have emailed this motion. Do you
It was
have
submitted through the
motion?
form. Did you receive it? If not, I can.
I saw it on the phone, but I do all my prep work now.
Okay.
I don't rely on wireless here, so I don't.
I apologize. I will word it and then bring a written copy if that's okay. So I'd like to move that SLEC will, through approval voting, select the venue city for the 2018 LP Texas Convention from those recommended by the Convention Planning Committee.
Second.
And with a few more details. Yeah.
Can you go ahead and bring the text form so we can get it up?
Yeah,
on the screen?
I unfortunately don't have it quite written out yet, but I can write it and bring it.
You-
I didn't.
Yeah, but he doesn't have his email. Can you send it to me?
Let him talk. He can type it himself.
All right. He's gonna send it to me. We're gonna get it on the screen.
Let him sit down at the keyboard and type it himself.
Well, I think he's emailing it to me.
At least 3 can't be computers. Let him sit down there and type it himself.
All right, here we go. Motion title. All right, here we go. All right. I'm going to.
Mr. Chair, is there a second to this motion?
I second,
I'm gonna get on the screen before I ask for a second.
but I did second it already.
Okay. All right, so here we have the motion text. Following a report from the Convention Planning Committee, SELECT will use approval voting to select the city location of the 2018 LP Texas Convention. Ballot options will include the 3 recommended locations, and it has a list: Houston, Pflugerville, and Grapevine, plus a line to write in a city, which also functions as NOTA. Now, we just passed a motion that I think excludes one of these cities.
There's one venue in that city.
Oh, okay, you're right, you're right. And we're choosing the city here. Okay, you're absolutely right.
Still choose that city.
Yeah.
Have a good option right now.
Okay, fine. All right, well then, yes. Hold on 1 second. We're gonna get this motion correct, and then we will go to people. All right. I have heard a second. Mr. Glass, you've had your hand up for a while.
Yes, I move to make an amendment. to this.
Okay.
I can't see, so I'm going to have to come up and look. I move to substitute the word venue for city location. And so let's do that.
So your motion is to strike city location and insert venue. You mind if I do something that'll make this whole thing easier? We're going.
Sorry.
Yeah, you see that way, right?
For venue, there's city location.
Venue's not in there.
I'm not finished with my amendment. We're making sure we get it one step at a time.
But there's no word venue. Where is venue?
I will finish my amendment here in a minute.
Everybody come to order. We're gonna get the screen.
Thanks.
Why? Show us. Why is it then not? There we go.
Ballot option right now, we're going to substitute the word free to under ballot option two.
You can just backspace and type in 2. It
Substitute locations of.
Okay. We have the amendment on the screen. The underlined parts are the parts being added. The struck parts are the parts being removed. Do we have a second? Is there a second?
Second.
Here's a second. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I can make it bigger if you want. All right, there we go. Much more readable. All right. Is everyone clear on the amendment? No, you're not clear on the amendment. What?
I'm ready to speak in favor of it whenever we're ready.
Yeah. So what are you unclear on? Okay. What will be the full motion after the amendment? Is that your question? Okay. The motion will read, if it passes, the motion will read, following a report from the Convention Planning Committee. SELEC will use approval voting to select the venue of the 2018 LP Texas Convention. Ballot options will include the 2 recommended locations of West Chase Hilton of Houston and Embassy Suites in Grapevine. That will be the motion if the amendment passes. Mr. Glass.
The reason why I just made
Mr. Spivey. Mr. Spivey does have the floor. Okay. So is that an? I don't know that I'm going to take that as speaking for or against. It was really just informational. Is there someone to speak against this amendment? Mr. Watts. So that's a point of information to Ms. Valier.
I've come to a decision on a venue today that seems really clear that we are going to have problems coming to a decision on a venue, then, we should not choose a venue. But I think that it would be better to choose a city because if we're going to start making things mandatory, like not having 30-6 signs, and yet we have not included yet in any of our formal written communications with these venues. All of the written bids that we've had, none of those have had mention of 30-6. So if this is going to be a criteria, you cannot choose a venue today.
Thank you.
Mr. Thomas.
Choose.
I move to amend to add notice beyond.
So you're adding, what's the wording you're adding?
And include notice as an option.
To the end, you're adding the words and include NOTA as an option. This amendment to that amendment. Yeah. Well, I'm going to get it up on the screen where I was planning on asking, so. It controls, oh, there you go. There we go. Been a motion, there's been a second. You want to speak to your motion?
I just want notice to be there in case you don't like me.
Okay. Is there someone to speak against this amendment? Ms. Irles?
So in my mind, if that information is correct, we don't know. Let's say that they're making it up and they're wrong. We don't have enough information to decide whether or not we know that venue is set up for us. So how can we vote on that? If that's one of the things that's important.
Yes, that's not germane to whether or not we should have NOTA on the ballot. So, Ms. Glass. All pending questions or just, huh? A NOTA question. Been a motion to call the question of NOTA. All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed? That passes. All in favor of the NOTA amendment, raise your hand. All opposed? Do that again. All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed? That passes. Mr. Golson.
I guess it will just be a matter of straight up discussion. Based on that information, if we assume that this is the case, it might be that they have just, and if we're going to limit ourselves to these three, then maybe there should be a substitute to just make
So are you?
No,
Well,
no, 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 no. No,
yeah.
please let us vote.
I understand what you're saying. The only way we could do it germane to this amendment is if we voted to vote
As if that one does
on just the embassy or NOTA, but we could maybe later, once we get back to the main motion, make the amendment I think you're trying to make. Yeah. Ms. Bailey.
Point of information, if we were to say choose the West Chase Hilton of Houston today, and then something happens, they can't fulfill the contract, somebody is calling right now and booking that, like whatever it is, if we lock ourselves in today to one of these actual venues and something falls through with the venue, does the body have to reconvene to pick a new location, or would the convention committee be able to select a different venue in the same city? It just, the Hilton burns down or whatever catastrophic event it is.
Unless we put it in the motion that they're allowed to change that, we would have to reconvene to change or rescind anything we've done.
Okay.
Ms. Glass.
Okay. With respect to Aubrey's statement, Tom and I called the Embassy Suites in Grapevine and asked them, and they said, you can't bring a gun on these premises. Tom, by the manager, said, walk to your front door, tell me what the sign is. He didn't use books like 30-06. He said, what does it say? Give me the numbers. Because they first said, you can't carry concealed, you can't do anything. So show me read the statement, the notice on your front door. And he says, it says 30.07. He says, is there a 3.030.06? I said, no. So, okay, that's why we did our due diligence to say, because it's a Hilton, it's okay. So if you call the front desk at the West Station, it said, is there a sign in the front? And they come back, there's a sign there. She said they have both. They don't.
Ms. Glass has the floor.
Yes. They don't, unless they put it up over, so they don't. Now, as far as selecting a city without a venue,
Well,
we did that
the
in
amendment right now
2016.
is one
Bozeman
against
made it.
Ms. Fire? Mr. Harris? Mr. Spivey.
A lot of phone calls, a lot of legwork, got to visit them. We need to get this thing done today. Again, will be behind the scenes. Everyone's confirmation is surrounding 30.06. I've got a website associated, instructions, communication with contract associated, got some eyewitnesses associated with them. So, and I will need to pass a motion here in my subject.
We are on the First Amendment. We can amend this amendment. We cannot. So I guess it depends. All right. Yeah. Yeah. So you are adding to the end if it. Okay.
And what that does is after we vote, I mean, each more case you want to point out or
Okay. Point of order. Okay. I don't think that's a point of order, but I guess just an announcement. I don't necessarily know that it's, he was, sorry, we'll do it at the same time. He was just letting us know Phil's here. Right here. Oh, yeah. All right, let's get to that. Cool. Okay, is everybody clear on this second level amendment? Okay. I guess we can go into debate. Mr. Spivey, do you feel you've adequately spoke to your amendment, or do you? Thank you. Anyone to speak against this amendment? Ms. Glass. We're 2 levels deep right now. All right. Call all questions? Okay. There's been a motion to call all pending point of information. So I'm going to answer that question and a question that came up around that question. One, yes, we could choose to decide on online vote, but that puts us in a rather precarious position because we are required to select delegate allocation at the meeting where the time and place of our convention is selected, and we can't do both in an online vote. Now, what we may be able to do is an online meeting to consider both options to answer your question. All right. Point of information. Okay, so say that you're referring the motion to the committee of the whole, and then, I guess in a single motion adopting both?
Actually move it, but it would be prepared and ready for an electronic meeting where we could vote on our venue, and then bring that motion up, for the delegate office.
Yeah, that would be fine. That would be fine. There'd be nothing holding us to adopting that motion. Okay, I just want to make sure we were clear. Over here. Is this something privileged, or is this debate? Because I think we moved to call the question. Is this privileged? Yes. I don't. Yeah, that's debate at this point. Mr. Glass, you've entered into debate at this point. There is.
So we're voting on the call.
Okay, hold up. Did we pass the motion to call questions we just made and seconded?
I don't think we voted.
Yeah, we haven't voted on it. Who moved to call pending questions?
Oh,
Whitney, you moved to call? Okay. It said Anastasia here. I didn't think that was right. Point of information, yes. No, I have not been there. So, no, listen. You asked the point of information if I'm aware of the website. I am not. That's really the end of a point of information. What's your point of information? Okay. All right. So you were not able to find it. Okay. We'll now proceed to a vote to call all pending questions. All in favor of calling all pending questions, raise your hand. All opposed? That passes. All in favor of we have two amendments deep, I believe. The first amendment is this addition of the winning venue is confirmed to have 30-6 notice in the second place, non-30-6. So all in favor of this amendment, raise your hand. All opposed? That passes. Now we are to these changes made by Mr. Glass, the first level amendment. All in favor? Huh? That was already passed. That's been passed. All in favor of these changes, raise your hand. Sorry. Okay. What we adopted just earlier was to add this section right here to what Tom was proposing. That has now been entered into the proposal. Now we are adopting on whether we should make this whole proposal, and then we will move on to adoption. All in favor of? Yeah. So I stated earlier that it was, and it was called on a point of order that it wasn't. I looked it up. I was wrong. It is not amendable. So there we sit. Yes, thank you, Mr. Rogers. So we are on to adoption of this amendment. All in favor of this amendment, raise your hand. All opposed? We're going to count that. All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Are you voting or 6, 7? Okay, we're voting on adopting these amendments in red. That is what we're voting on right now, whether we're keeping these amendments or not. Yes. If we adopt this amendment, it will read, following a report from the Convention Planning Committee, SELEC will use approval voting to select the venue of the 2018 LP Texas Convention. Ballot options will include the 2 recommended locations of West Chase Hilton of Houston and NBC Suites in Grapevine, and include NOTA as an option. If the winning venue is confirmed to have a 30-06 notice, then the second place non-30-06 venue shall be the winner. Point of information. So what we just voted on was adding this language to your amendment. Now we're voting on adding your amendment to the motion, and then we will vote on the adoption. All right. Yeah. All right. So all in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In favor. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Anyone over here? Are you voting in favor? 11. 11 in favor. All those opposed? I don't need to count that anymore. Well, if we want to count for the record. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 22 opposed. All right, motion for the amendment fails. So this is all going back to the original motion as proposed by Mr. Watts. So, yeah, but instead of taking it all out, we can just. No, we called all pending questions. Reject all changes. So this is the motion we have moved to. No, we may not. More information. Yes, yes. All right, so the motion reads now, following a report from the Convention Planning Committee, SELEC will use approval voting to select the city location of the 2018 LP Texas Convention. Ballot options will include the 3 recommended locations, i.e. Houston, Pflugerville, and Grapevine, plus a line to write in a city, which also functions as NOTA. All in favor of this motion? Point of information. Because that only removes the hotel. This is just considering the city. We could use another hotel in the city. All in favor of this motion, raise your hand. 1. Actually, I don't think I need to count that. All opposed? That passes. Yes. So you are moving to direct the committee to bring us a list of locations from the city that don't have a 30-06 and that will not post one for our convention. Is that correct? Yeah. Can we get that? Well, hold up. We need to get that in writing really before we go any further. So yeah, if you could come up here, and we're not amending that anymore. So no. This is a new motion. This motion passed. Yeah. So. Well, we're going to get a Word document up here, and I want you to type it. Or, point of order. Yes, a motion has been made to use approval voting, and at this time, a motion is in order. This motion doesn't prevent us from using that or not. I mean,
Do you make that ruling, Chair? The spirit was to immediately vote.
we
To
can,
move to vote. Do you rule that?
hold up. Hold up. Let me work this out for just a second.
Yes.
We can, if somebody wants to do that, we can move to lay this on the table and move to immediately to a vote.
Move immediately to a vote for the motion we just adopted.
Okay. Okay.
Oh my God.
Let's
voting to vote again.
We still need the text.
No.
The motion.
Honestly, I don't know
I'm sorry.
why you feel the need to.
Hey, point of order. Point of order. We still need the text of your motion. Or I guess you're withdrawing your motion. Are you withdrawing your motion? Well, we need the. No. Whoa. First of all, nobody told you to sit down, and second of all, we need to maintain decorum. We're simply somebody's moved to lay your motion on the table, but we still need the text of your motion. Yes. Yeah, over here. Would you rather there and then we put it up on the screen, or yeah, just go ahead and type on that. Let's wait until we have the text of this motion on the screen. Point of information. That's a fair question. I think he's about done typing his motion. Yeah, go ahead. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Now we are waiting on the wording of a motion that has been made. We want to get it clear so we don't end up in a debacle that we found ourselves in a couple times today and in the past. When this motion comes up, we will open the floor for debate on the motion. And no, this motion has to do with having the committee bring back a list of venues. The last motion we approved was to vote on the city, using approval voting as a method. Move a 5-minute recess. All right, there's been a motion. Is there a second for a 5-minute recess? 5-minute recess, raise your hand. All opposed? All in favor? A recess. All opposed to a recess? That passes. We got 5 minutes. Great. Motion.
Pathetic.
Committee guys.
Who moved? Liz did.
Yeah.
That was pretty young.
I mean, I think it's a clear thought.
No, they haven't even allowed us to make a motion.
Okay. Yeah. 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 This has been a deep meeting. And I've already screwed up twice.
Agree with you, they can decide tomorrow.
I am so sorry again.
I mean, yeah, I think we need to challenge that if you
No, I'm actually fine. I'm just.
I mean, make it a little bigger for you.
Yeah, Barnwell Friends, yes.
This version.
Yeah, I'm not gonna try and do that right now. There's too much of it. I don't wanna add any mental burden to this. I don't know. I want to do that either. We're already going pretty long.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, where are we on time?
We have 3 more minutes.
Fine before.
I misspoke. There's 2 Norris Centers. That was at the one in San Antonio, not the one in Balcones Heights. The point is, if we adopt Pflugerville as an option, include Austin. If we're going to get an extreme.
Selecting the location.
Then we are. Well, I think this has been. Thank you. I need it. Y'all have this much fun in Louisiana?
They don't want it.
Oh, I like that system better. I was gonna use a bull. I mean, it's rendered Texas.
Oh.
Did
you check the battery on this one too? The battery, I thought you checked the battery. I replaced batteries in all of them, just for good measure. Some of them have gone out, but not all of them have. Yes. Yeah, and so I got that message, so I just went and found that.
Oh. Yeah, with the, yeah, I got a little bit of this going on. Oh yeah. Was she?
Thank you. Yeah, you started it. Oh yeah.
I think we're 1 more minute. Yeah, there we are. Yep, back in.
No, it was an excellent point. Excellent point.
I agree.
Mr. Glass.
I move to postpone this motion until after we have voted on the city, and we've just decided how to do it, and we've apportioned our delegates.
Okay. Motion to postpone definitely until after we vote on the city and apportion delegates?
Correct.
Okay.
Second.
Second. I don't think we need.
Yeah, and I'm ready to speak in favor of that motion. If you-
No, you don't.
Okay. So, okay. We have a motion to postpone, definitely. I think we can handle this without waiting to type it on the screen. Mr. Glass, do you want to speak to your motion?
Call the question.
You haven't been recognized.
Yeah, no, I won't. Yeah.
You don't?
I'll-
Okay, Ms. Glass?
Call the question.
Okay.
Postpone indefinitely.
No, definitely.
Or until after. Okay.
Yeah, so the motion is to postpone definitely until after this vote and after a vote on delegate allotment. That was the motion.
Is there an objection?
Yes.
There is objection. All in favor of calling the question, and this is just the question on the post, well, there's only one thing pending if it passes. It could apply down if it fails. Are you just calling the question on the postponement?
This one.
You're calling the question on the motion?
Yes.
Wait,
Call
No.
the question on the
point
motion.
of
to
information?
postpone.
On the motion to postpone, okay, yes. All in favor of calling the question, raise your hand. All opposed? That passes. All in favor of postponing, raise your hand. All opposed? That passes. All right, we are now going to move to a vote on the city using approval voting.
Yay.
Ms. Glass?
I move that we vote approval by a roll call ballot.
That we do the ballot by roll call?
Yes.
Okay. Are there 8 people who wish to do this by roll call? Yep, we got 8. Yeah, and we're gonna call it. Yeah, they can. So, I guess I want to do this. I'm going to do this just so everybody, as they come up, or as their name comes up, is aware of the options they have in voting. Point of information.
This motion says plus a line to write in a city. So does that mean that we could verbally nominate another city
Yes.
in our roll call?
Yes.
Bill, you're going to vote for
1
this?
second.
What's everything about? You got to call the roll. You got a minute.
No, I think we call each person and ask them to list. I'll keep a tally, and then if you can keep the. Yes. Yeah, we'll keep counts. You need to keep track of what cities they said. So, I mean, maybe you can put PG, and then if there's another city, you can. Yeah. We're going to keep the town.
Yeah, they told me yesterday. They told me last night.
We need to keep a record of what each person voted for. That's the. No.
So that's just kind of.
Yes. Because if you take our information only, I don't know who voted on what. We just have it punched out. Your information will say Bob voted for this. Yeah. And if you're going to keep the, I'm not.
I've been struggling all day. Because this is so ridiculous.
Yeah, Mark, can you keep a tally? just keep a tally of the cities, like, yeah. Yeah, I guess you could NODA, yeah. Yeah, just the ones you approve of, yeah. I think so. I would. Well, it says. What do you mean? It doesn't say we can say NODA. It says plus a line to write it a city, and then with. At this point, it would be a motion to amend something previously adopted. It would either take 2/3 of those present or a majority of the. Funny to know. Now, Austin. Or a majority of the entire body. Yeah, well, yeah, they put this right in line. Yeah. Okay. Are you ready on your end? Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody ready?
We're gonna
proceed to a roll call vote on this. Martin Miller. Grapevine.
You might just put G.
Next.
Yeah, that was his writing.
I'm gonna go for Pflugerville, Austin, Grapevine, and then
You can add NODA and an.
Oh, wasn't mine. Okay. All right.
You can add NODA, but you can only add one thing.
Okay. So you can't vote a city and. Does he have to vote again?
You can vote one of these three cities, and but you have one line to write something else. And if you write NODA, you can't write another city.
Okay, so I can still vote for one city. What is the NODA contribution?
Point of personal privilege, I can't hear.
Yes, absolutely right. Okay, so
The question is around the effect of NODA if you vote for something else than NODA.
Correct.
The answer is that you add one to the pile of tally marks for NODA, and if NODA beats all the cities, those cities are struck from consideration. So, point of information.
Mark Miller's vote for Austin or Pflugerville?
Austin and Grapevine.
Grapevine first.
He's writing in Austin.
I'm writing in Austin.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's not ranked choice.
Is it privileged? Point of information.
This motion is also worded right in a city.
Yes.
So that means that we are limited to a single additional city?
Yes.
Is it privileged?
It's a point of information that Grapevine, although they do have other convention hotels, it is a part of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I mean, it's right in the middle of everything. So we've got
Point of
3 or 4 other
order.
hotels to choose from. I'm just saying Grapevine.
Are you asking me a question or?
The question is, this cannot be amended.
No. I mean, with a 2/3 vote, if we want to stop everything.
Well,
Anyway.
Grapevine, we can do it, we can do
All right,
it.
so you asked Mr. Miller for his.
I vote for Houston, Pflugerville, Grapevine, or Abilene.
Russell DePoy.
Houston.
Bill Gray. Corey Watkins. Grapevine. Abilene. Lisa Woodward.
Grapevine, Houston, Austin.
Anastasia Wilson.
Grapevine, Pflugerville, Abilene.
David Monroe. Houston or Austin? Was that again? Houston, Austin. Scott Ford.
Houston, and the only place to get a skip pass is Abilene.
And they said they do.
Eric Ellison. Pflugerville, Grapevine, and Austin. Stephen Harris.
Houston, Austin, Grapevine.
Tom Glass.
Houston.
Kathy Glass.
Houston,
Bobby Iroh.
Grapevine, Pflugerville, Abilene.
Jeffrey Connor.
Houston and Abilene.
Elizabeth Scripter.
Grapevine and Fort Worth.
Bert Bailey.
Grapevine, Abilene.
Jeffrey Adams. Grapevine. Abilene. Pflugerville. Pflugerville. Whitney Jones.
Grapevine, Abilene, Austin.
Oh, you can't do that.
Oh, okay.
We only wrote Abilene.
Which one do you want to scratch off?
Scratch Austin then.
John Hahn. Houston. John Spivey.
Grapevine, Pflugerville.
David Turner.
Houston.
Stephen Husted.
Houston, Grapevine, Austin.
Carla Peeler.
Houston, Grapevine, Austin.
Alan Smith.
Houston, Abilene.
Tommy Attaway.
Houston, Abilene.
Nicholas Carbone.
Houston. Carbone.
Nathan Watts.
Houston.
Andrew Hamlin.
Houston.
Laura Valle.
Pflugerville and Austin.
Gary Johnson.
Houston.
Ross Leone.
Houston.
First on ours. Abilene. Trying to remain neutral here. James Keller.
Houston.
Mark Lowy.
Houston.
Roger Gary. Grapevine and Alamo Heights. Brett Smith.
Houston, Pflugerville, Grapevine, and Abilene.
James Goldsman.
Grapevine, Pflugerville, Austin.
Elizabeth McDonald.
Houston and Abilene.
Barry Hill. Houston.
That's nice.
All right, guys. We have a discrepancy of the two vote counts, neither of which affect the results. So I'll read the two vote counts, and we can either recount them, or we can accept both of these, because they both said the same thing. No. All right, so one vote total says Houston 26, Pflugerville 10, Grapevine 20, Austin 10, Abilene 14, Fort Worth 1, and Alamo Heights 1. That's what you have? The other count says Houston 27, Pflugerville 11, Grapevine 19, Austin 10, Abilene 14, Fort Worth 1, and Alamo Heights 1. You say yours agrees with this?
I agree.
Or the first one? Does anyone want to move to accept the first results?
Move to accept the first result.
Second.
Any objection to that?
What was the secretary?
Will you those results? Yes, the results are Houston 26, Pflugerville 10, Grapevine 20, Austin 10, Abilene 14, Fort Worth 1, Alamo Heights 1. Is there any objection to accepting these results? Objection? All in favor of accepting these results, raise your hand. All opposed? That passes. We have a seat.
Mr. Chair, I have a motion that I had previously put up on Ignite. I have to do with apportionment that I would like to move now.
Yeah, I can.
Second.
Point of order?
Point of order, yes.
Were we not to choose our delegate allocation for next?
I think
That's what I did.
Oh, is that what you're talking about? I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Apportionment is the legal word. Allocation is an arbitrary word. And apportionment is the legal word.
Sorry.
Because
I don't know.
proportionality.
That's right. Motion.
That's correct.
There were two, you want to make sure I get the right one.
I put them up in the motion section and I put it up. Yeah, I think the motion section is where it should be.
Yeah, it is, but I think there are two of them. I'm trying to make sure I get the one that.
I think they
Is
should
it
be the
this
same.
one?
It has Houston at
31?
33.
33 for Harris?
Yeah, for
Okay.
Harris. I will pull mine up just to make sure.
Yeah.
Can you read off the numbers there?
Yeah.
Just a second, let me make sure I've got it. Okay, yes, please read what the county numbers are.
Okay, Harris 33, Travis 22, Dallas 22, Aaron 20, Bear 19, Colin 11, Denton 10, Williamson 10, El Paso 7, Fort Bend 6, Montgomery 6, all other counties 4.
That is my motion.
Okay. And I heard a second earlier. So it's been moved and seconded that we adopt this motion. Do you want to speak to your motion?
Yeah, I'll speak briefly. There's been a lot of discussion on the forum, so I don't think we need to rehash that. I did this using the spreadsheet in the way we've done it for the last 3 times. I think everybody's come to the conclusion that 4 is the right number for the smaller ones. And then it's a question of what to do for the big ones. And I just tried to keep the Harris County at the same number we've been doing, because I personally don't think you can really do an accurate job of predicting who's going to show based on past. I think there's too much human action variability there from my praxeology studies. So that's why I'm going with this. This what I wanted to get us going on it.
So to speak against?
I have a question.
Oh, what's your question?
I just want to record the message denominator.
I will pull that up here in just a second.
Point of information, Mr. Glass,
Yes.
with these numbers, what would the total delegate count at the convention be?
Okay, it is time. All right.
Depends how.
All right, let me go ahead and just go. I'll go to this spreadsheet. Okay. The way I did the calculations is I based all I did is try to calculate the total potential delegates that could come, right? And what I did is I took the number of organized counties that we have, and I put down for the ones that have 4, I multiplied by 4, and for the ones that are bigger, I multiplied by the number that was apportioned here. In my spreadsheet that I did, that I submitted to the body, I had assumed 65 organized counties. Since then, Mark Miller had pointed out that there was fewer numbers than that. I went and looked, and in fact, some more had come off. I had made some mistakes. We were down to 60 total organized counties is my current count. And so based on that 60, we would have a total of 362 total potential delegates. Of course, one of the variabilities in this is, we could be really good at organizing more small counties, right? And if that happens and they show up, we increase our potential. But that's the number that I came up with. And by the way, that number, just the split between the large counties that have more than 4 and those that have 4, is 198 potential delegates from the large counties and 164 delegates from the small counties.
Yeah. 2 years ago, it was 387. So this would be, it was 387 2 years ago. So this number would cause the delegate count probably to be smaller than it was.
Yeah, if all things being equal. Yeah.
All things being equal.
By the way, I now have the number that, Arthur, I'll answer you the question. 10,300 was the divisor.
Would it be in order to amend all other to 5?
That would be allowable.
I would move that all other be raised to 5.
All right, so there's an amendment. I'm going to highlight this because this is a PDF and it's not editable. The motion is to change this number 4 to the number 5. And if we need to, I can put up a Word document and copy and paste it, but I think it's pretty clear. So, it's been a second. Do you want to speak briefly to your motion?
I just think we need to encourage small counties more. I hate to think of a small county who is working to get ahead and they have to tell somebody to stay home because they only get 4. And if it's not used, no harm done that I can see. But if it is used, we've helped grow the party.
There's not to be yes.
Yeah, I only speak against because at the current count of 4, those counties that only get 4 are not sending 4 generally. Most of those smaller counties are sending 2 or 3, if any. And so 4 already gives them a buffer above what they're sending, and I don't think we need to move it to 5.
Someone to speak in favor? I'm not speaking either way. I wanted to provide information to the body about this. It's just a number thing. I just plugged into my spreadsheet the number 5 for the minimum, and then used the 60 counties, and that moves our total potential delegates to 411. And it puts the split between large and small counties at 206 for large and 205 for small.
So to speak in favor.
Well, I think what Ross was saying is very important. It really doesn't matter how many they send, that's up to each individual. By setting it at 5, we're saying that we value the small county. And if you are an active county, if you do have 5 people, please come. I'm a strong believer in protecting the majority, the tyranny of the majority. This is a long way to do it. Is to make the smaller counties a little more potential representation. So I think it really, practical effect probably won't increase it to the numbers Tom's talking about, for just the reason everybody was talking about, nobody would come, but instead we value the
Someone to speak against.
And I certainly agree that we do value the participation of smaller counties, but I think we also want to show that we value the smaller counties that have not just organized, but have really begun to grow. And I just want the body to be aware that the larger we make this minimum number, the longer it takes for the growth of these small counties to actually gain them additional delegates. I believe that our minimum used to be 2, and we raised it to 4, so that decreased the counties that had grown some, gaining extra delegates. So I think we want to keep that in perspective.
Are you speaking in favor?
My comment is possibly neutral. When we say that we want more participation and we're having it off at, or we're forgetting about alternates, I believe that the alternate actually effectively doubles the count so that you can effectively have up to 8 people, even if only 4 delegates at a time.
That's all questions. All questions? Okay. Been a motion to call all pending questions. This would call the amendment and then move to the vote on the motion itself. All in favor of calling all pending questions, raise your hand. All opposed? We're moving to the vote. All in favor of the amendment to change this 4 to a 5, raise your hand. All opposed? That fails. All in favor of adopting this schedule of delegates, raise your hand. All opposed? The motion passes. All right, I believe this brings up the postpone motion from before. Eric's motion that was postponed. So. Yeah. All right, so this is the motion that is coming back up. It is coming back up exactly where it's at. I believe Eric should be first to speak, but I don't see him.
Point of information is,
Point of information, yes.
is the thing we're referring to a caliber or to the section of the code, which should be 30.0?
Oh, sorry, this is the wrong motion, I'm sorry.
No?
That's the right.
That's our
it is?
motion.
Okay, sorry.
What are you saying?
Second,
I believe this is talking about the
Section.
30 out of 6. It's a pretty standard posting.
Is there an extra 0 in there?
No.
30.0.
3 zeros.
Okay, sorry.
All right, well, without him being here, is there someone who wishes to speak in favor of this motion?
I wish to amend. I wish to amend the motion to, so we're in the selected city for the 2018 state, Open Texas State Commission in Houston, Texas.
We're back to strikeout.
This is unnecessary.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman? Yeah, I would accept that as a friendly motion.
After it's been stated before the body, it's not ordered anymore. But, is this find a venue, Houston, Texas? Something seems.
That's fine.
Don't strike out in.
And bring it back. Here's a button. Okay. That they find a venue in Houston, Texas for the 2018 LP Texas State Convention.
Okay, then after that, like everything else and include, no, after that. After the word that. Like everything else and substitute for it that is acceptable to the committee with respect to legal 30-6 notices.
Point of information, or order, can we get that in writing?
Well, I think that's what we're doing right now.
With respect to legally posted 30-6 notices.
This motion, okay, I'm gonna one time read through the motion as it would read if this amendment was accepted. Move to send to the Convention Planning Committee guidance that they find a venue in Houston, Texas for the 2018 LP Texas State Convention that is acceptable to the committee with respect to legally posted 30-6 notices. All right. You want to speak to your amendment or?
It's been seconded?
Is there a second?
Second.
I think this is the sense of what we want to do. I, including others, want to make sure that they have the right 30-6. If they have a 30-6 posted legal notice, we don't want to do business with them. And even though I love this venue, I work very hard to find it.
Is there someone to speak against this amendment? Mr. Broderick?
I think it leaves it wide open to interpretation of what the committee finds acceptable for a 30-6 notice.
Request for information.
Yes.
Houston, would that include the metropolitan area or suburban just outside of the actual city limits?
Yeah, so this question's come up before with other motions we've made. I've always interpreted that when you put a city name there, you were talking about a legal boundary that exists. So the city of Houston, whatever that boundary is. So
Not a problem.
I've always read it.
You know, that excludes West University and Bel Air and Piney Point Village, but they don't have any facilities anyway.
That is how it's been.
May I amend?
What's your amendment?
To add greater before Houston.
That amendment would not be in order because we already took a approval ballot to select the city in Houston. So this isn't actually binding us to Houston, it's just kind of stating what we've already done, so we can't change that. Just want to kind of keep it to it. All right, is there any more debate on this, or can we proceed to a vote on the amendment? I see no debate. All in favor of the amendment, of considering this instead, raise your hand. All opposed to the amendment. The amendment passes. Mr. Wise.
I would like to speak against the motion that now has just been amended.
Okay.
Okay. First off, our rules say that SLEC is the body that picks the venue. I do not want, I don't believe the strict interpretation rules that we even have the authority to delegate the selection of our venue or place to somebody else. And certainly if we have this rule that, by the body that we did, I would be voting against delegation of that. Under that assumption, that means that if we don't pick a venue today, then we're going to have to come back with an electronic vote later to be able to pick the venue within Houston. Here are my thought process on this whole 30-06 stuff is, and I will make a motion on this later on, is that we go ahead and pick the West Chase Hilton. And then if for some reason it has 30-06 or they pop it up or something like that, then we come back to, we call an electronic meeting to decline that and find another venue. But with what we've got now, because we know what we would hope is we don't have to come back and do an electronic. We just get her done and get moving. So I want to maintain this body's ability to stop a West Chase Hilton thing, but this to me says we're not going to even vote on venue today, and I'm opposed to deferring. I want to get going, and that's why I'm going to vote this down.
Okay, there's someone speaking in favor of this motion.
But I'm speaking against.
You're speaking against it. Are you speaking in favor?
Yes. We literally only have one vote. And I appreciate the work that the Convention Planning Committee has done. By my understanding, or rather the Convention Planning Committee looked at other locations in Houston. So I think that those can be brought up later on, and we can have an electronic vote, or sorry, an electronic meeting that, I mean, we've done it before. It's perfectly doable, and it would keep us from rushing through things and making a simple decision more complicated.
Right. Is there anyone to speak against? Ms. Lawyer?
I heard Mr. Glass's comments, and I think that this amendment as it's written right now, or this motion as it's written right now, it is a little bit ambiguous in one section, which I think could be changed to make it less ambiguous in regards to his objection about the entire SLEC delegating the decision to the Convention Planning Committee. Because I think that part where it says that is acceptable to the committee, is if it said that is acceptable to SLEC, finding an option that is acceptable to SLEC.
Go ahead and issue a ruling on that, because it seems to be kind of an end point for some of the debate here. This body, and especially in relation to things that we are instructed our rules to do, is a committee of the convention. We are a committee of the convention. That said, we don't have the right to delegate the decision. In fact, Robert's rules at a certain point says we could even move by a supermajority on a ballot to have one person choose the ballot. It is us that has to make that decision ballot. I have been reading this so far that we are asking them, which is the normal function of a committee, to go out, craft a motion, and bring a motion back to us to adopt. So that would be my ruling on this motion.
For clarity's sake, I would like to move to amend to strike committee and replace it with SLEC.
To amend to strike the committee?
Yes.
Second.
Third.
How did we get it done?
Okay. I'm going to real quick before we go any further. I'm going to read this as I read. Move to send the Convention Planning Committee guidance that they find a venue in Houston, Texas, for the 20th Kentucky Texas State Convention that is acceptable to SLEC with respect to legally posted 30-6 notices. Is there a second to that one? I think I heard a second. Was there? Okay.
Yes.
I didn't hear a second. Do you want to speak to your motion?
It just seems that with the discussion that's happened already, that this would be more clear and more agreeable.
Okay, just want to speak against this. All right, Mr. Glass, I'll work
I will vote for this, even though I still will vote for the main motion. My objection was a two-step motion. One is I was making the argument that SLEC should, under our rules, always make the final decision. And then if we don't make the decision today, we're going to have to come back for an electronic meeting. I was hoping by choosing a venue, by voting this down and then moving to choose a venue today, that we give ourselves the option of coming back to this body to undo something we've already done if that requires it, but allows us to move forward. And so that's why I'm going to vote for this amendment is SLEC, it's because it clarifies it.
Mr. Ross, request of information. Is there a need for the body select to choose our convention venue prior to the next in-person select?
So I think that question could be interpreted two ways, so I'll answer it both. By our rules, no, we don't have to do that. Now, in regard to urgency and a general need for a new convention, some have said that they feel it's necessary, others have disagreed. Ms. Glass?
Is a motion to substitute a new motion for this one?
You can substitute the specific amendment, but not the entire thing.
Point of parliamentary inquiry, I think.
Change the word.
If you could possibly change the word to select to read it all the way out
That'd
to
be amendment.
the state executive committee of Texas, but you can't amend the whole thing.
Then I'll just speak.
Okay. So,
I'm going to vote against this because I'm going to make a motion that we accept the West Chase Hilton Instructor Convention Planning Committee to move forward with a contract for signature by our chair, which specifies that the absence of a legally posted 30-6 notice is material to our decision.
Ms. Wilson, I think I heard a point of parliamentary inquiry.
I think that's what this is. So Mr. Glass has advised that should we maybe not be able to obtain this, that we could come back and vote at a later time. First, would that require us to rescind a motion previously made by the committee? And secondly, what is the threshold by which we would have to do that?
Yeah, so to the first point, it would require us to either rescind or amend something previously considered by the committee. They have the same threshold, and there's actually three. It's the lesser of any three. If the committee is given previous notice, or previous notice is described to be a notice when the meeting location, time, and place is announced. When we announce whether it's an electronic meeting or an in-person meeting, when we announce that meeting, we would have to give notice that we are going to be voting upon something previously adopted. If we do that, it's a simple majority. If we don't have that previous notice, it takes the lesser of 2/3 or a majority of the entire body in order to do that. Does that answer your question?
It does, thank you.
Ms. Fine?
Are we speaking about the amendment to this motion or the entire motion?
We are speaking about the amendment.
Oh, maybe, I'll wait till we talk about the whole entire motion.
Okay. Ms. Radoway?
Move to call pending questions.
All or this current?
I want both the amendment and the motion itself.
Second. There's a second to that. Is there any objection to calling all pending questions?
I object.
There's objection. All in favor of calling all pending questions, raise your hand. All opposed? That passes. On the amendment to strike the committee and add the word select, all in favor, raise your hand. All opposed? That passes. On the main motion, that will read, I'll go ahead and read it from the bottom. Move to send the convention planning committee guidance that they find a venue in Houston, Texas for the 2018 Healthy Texas State Convention that is acceptable to select with respect to legally posted 30-6 notices. All in favor of this motion, raise your hand.
A point of information, is this amendable or substitute?
No, no, it's not. All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed? That passes.
I move that we select the venue for, we select the venue for the 2018 convention to be at the West Chase Hilton in Houston with the proviso Kathy just said a minute ago. That we had to do the contract that it be material. Now, Kathy maybe didn't want to get me straight. I should have let her make the motion.
Can we get that in writing?
Yeah.
Mass speaks that motion.
Yeah, I tell you what, I'm withdrawing my motion.
You're withdrawing your motion, Ms. Glass?
Yes. I move that we select the venue for the 2018 LP Texas State Convention in Houston as the West Chase Hilton, and instruct the Convention Planning Committee to pursue a contract.
Like she said.
To procure a contract and instruct the, okay, go back to West Chase Hilton and to insert. Instruct the Convention Planning Committee to procure a contract and to be signed by the state chair.
There we go. Hit it again.
Which declares that the absence of a legally posted 30.06 notice is material to our decision. I need to edit it a little bit. Up at the beginning, move to select as a venue. Strike 2B at the end of the first sentence. Instruct the Convention Planning Committee on the second line.
First time you mentioned Houston.
Yeah.
Houston, West Chase.
Houston, West Chase. Let's remove it. Hold on a second. We have in there LP Texas State Convention. 2018 LP Texas State Convention. I would capitalize Convention Planning Committee, but we've done it before in other places. Any first vendors out there?
I hate the space between LP and Texas.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
That is my motion.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and read the motion once for clarity, and then we can entertain second. Move to select as the venue for the 2018 LP Texas State Convention at Houston West Chase Hilton, and to instruct the Convention Planning Committee to procure a contract to be signed by the state chair, which declares that the absence of a legally posted 30-60 notice is material to our decision. Is there a second to this motion?
Second.
Is there a debate on this motion?
I object to this motion.
Okay, do you want to go ahead and speak to your motion?
No, briefly, I think this is what we need to do. It clarifies it that we all think this is an important term. And if it's not there, if it's there now, we're not going to enter into it. If they put it up later, we'll have to revisit whether we want to do business with it at that time.
Okay, are you to speak against it, Brian?
Yes.
You know, this problem with this motion is that by passing this motion, if we find other issues that are objectionable with the Houston West Chase Hilton, we are bound to it
You know, so I don't think that we should vote in favor of this motion because notice, this is the only condition that we're putting on it. And there are other issues that have already been brought up, such as the square footage of their main ballroom being very tight. You know, that we don't have a contract in writing. I have a hard time with saying that we're just going to go with West Chase Hilton when there could be other options in the Houston area. I've only seen one other option from Houston that I've seen a bid from. You know, we had 5 or 6 bids from the other 2 cities. The Convention Planning Committee has only seen 2 from Houston. So I don't think that we should bind ourselves to the Houston West Chase Hilton, you know, because there could be other issues other than the 30-06 that might come up. And so I'd like to ask the SLEC to consider that we could always pick our delegate apportionment and we could pick the actual venue at a later date online. Please do not bind us to Houston West Chase Hilton when you don't know that there could be other issues with it that, you know, if you bind us to it today, there are going to be things you might not like coming up later.
Mr. Earl, would you like to propose an amendment? Yes. Replace the absence of a legally posted 3-6 notice would remove them from consideration.
So you're
Wait.
striking
The absence
is
of-
here.
Setting material doesn't, the gist of this body is, they were to say, no, we are going to put up a legal 3-6 notice, that would be deal breaker.
Before we go into that debate, I want to say, your motion is to strike this portion here and replace it with.
Something binding.
What is that thing? That you're
Declares,
trying to-
declares the legally posted 3-6 notice is required. Your contact requires the absence of
Which declares that the absence of a legally posted 30-6 notice is required. Required, and then just take materials or decision out. Okay. Is that, do you understand that?
No. Strike material to our decision. And place it as required.
Okay. This motion. Yes. Is everybody clear on this motion? All right, how do you want to speak to?
That just seems to me what we've been discussing all afternoon is that we don't want to go to any venue that people are going to show up and see a 30-6 notice on the door. And unless they're prepared to guarantee through a contract that there is a notice, then you shouldn't sign a contract.
Make a motion to call all questions.
Motion to call open, question, second?
Second.
Your first round to the amendment. All in favor of this amendment to strike these last words and insert the word required? Say-
Point of order.
Oh,
Yes.
oh, you're sorry. All in favor of calling all pending questions, raise your hand. All opposed? That passes. All in favor of this amendment to strike these last words and insert required, raise your hand. All opposed? That passes.
Division.
All in favor of the
Point of order, shouldn't that be a request for a counted vote?
request for division is in order. All in favor of the amendment, please rise. All opposed, please rise.
Oh.
That fails.
we, if we want to lay the email or form of similar goals?
So to go back and change.
If this failed, could we do this go back email?
I think so, yes.
No.
We called for division, we agreed to the vote under division.
I have a point of information. What does material to our decision mean legally?
Maybe it was for, is there a lawyer who wishes to?
We have a legal committee for that?
Yes, it's a term of art. If this is a material term, and if it changed, then we have the right to back out of the agreement because material terms change.
All right, now we will vote on adoption of this motion. All in favor of this motion, raise your hand. All opposed to this motion? The motion passes.
Mr. Chairman, is it in order to make a motion now to discuss the location of our next SLEC meetings? I have one written down.
Yeah, well, no. Yeah, we have.
The agenda.
We need to go back to the agenda.
Okay.
Oh, yay.
What is on our agenda?
Reports. Yep, reports.
Okay. We just finished this.
Committee reports.
Motion,
No.
deal. Wait.
Yeah.
No, we got these. Sorry. Policy committee, I know Whitney's not here. Are you the only member on the policy committee? Yes. Okay. I see a bunch of descriptions.
I would like to make a motion to suspend the rules,
Amend the agenda to take this up.
to amend the agenda so that I can make a motion for the next SLEC meeting.
Been a motion to suspend the agenda. It's required a 2/3 vote and it's not debatable.
What's the purpose?
To consider a motion about the time and location of our next select meeting.
The next two select meetings.
Next two select meetings. All in favor of suspending the agenda for this purpose, raise your hand. All opposed? Yes.
Passes. Okay.
I'll recognize you to make the motion.
Okay, so this is in conjunction with Kerry McKinnon. I've been talking with him about the next SLEC meetings. And I'll read what we have discussed. I'd like to make a motion to set the next two SLEC meetings with the following dates and cities. September 9th in Lubbock with the Panhandle counties, finding location and providing $500 toward the cost. And November 8th in Tarrant County with Dallas and Tarrant counties choosing location and providing $500 toward the cost. And I know we had previously talked September 16th, but that is a home game for Texas Tech and Lubbock that weekend, so there would not be affordable hotels. So that's why the request for September 9th was made. Second.
Yeah, let's get the word on the screen and then we'll kind of work through the motion.
Have it last year in December. It is.
You know, I. Single digit.
I do want to ask a question really quick while we're getting the wording up. Interpretation and intent here. It says, with the Panhandle counties funding location and providing $500 towards the cost.
Finding the
Finding,
location. I'm sorry, bad
No,
handwriting.
No, it's fine, it's fine. I'm sorry for my reading. So, anyway, would the effect of this motion be that if for some reason they're unable to provide that $500, that this would be nullified? Or at least that particular location, and we would go back under our default rules of selecting a venue that with your.
I guess so, but Carrie said that they were going to put $500 towards it, so.
Right, the reason I'm asking is I'm just gonna have to, I've seen these things go weird, and I have to have those questions.
Point of information.
Point of information, yes.
What's the date that I heard, November 8th?
18th,
18,
because of Thanksgiving.
$108.
At this time, I'll entertain privileged motions, we're gonna entertain amendments or anything. Does someone have a privileged motion?
As far as the date goes,
Yes.
November 4th?
Are you trying to make an amendment or?
Yes,
That's-
instead of the
no, no,
18th
that's-
to 4th.
That's not
Oh, okay.
We'll just have- Is that a privileged motion?
Point of information.
Yes.
Simply because I'm always angry for more donations for the party, I'm just wondering if the venue happens to cost less than $500, would the remaining balance be donated to Open Texas?
With Tarrant County, I can speak towards that. Sure, if we can get a
Absolutely.
venue for less than $500, go for it. But I can't speak for Carrie.
Speaking for Panhandle area, West Texas, I imagine any additional would probably go towards other costs, food and other things.
Yeah.
Okay. Will you read through this? Here, I'll read through it. I'll get confirmation that this is correct. Motion to set the next year's select meetings with the following dates and cities. September 9th and 11th with the Panhandle counties finding locations and providing $500 for the fund. November 18th in Tarrant County with Dallas and Tarrant County choosing locations and providing $500 for the fund. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Is there a second to this motion?
Second.
Is there a debate? There's debate. You want to speak for the motion?
Yeah, I guess if there's, I talked about September 9th, was because of the Texas Tech game, we want to have a portable hotels. The November 18th date is before Thanksgiving because last year for the December meeting, it was very hectic and there was a lot of complaints about having a meeting in December. It was my first SLEC meeting, and when I left there, everybody was saying things like we can never have a meeting in December again. So that's why I asked to move that to the 18th of November, which is as far into the quarter as we can go. And then the other thing is the locations of these, since we have chosen that we're going to have the state convention in the Houston area, which is a little difficult for some people in the state to get to. This will disperse some of the traveling so that people up in North Texas are not necessarily having to travel as far, because we do have a lot of people represented in the North Texas area. It'll just help spread things out, and it'll spread out the cost of conventions and meetings, take some of the burden off of our state. Yeah.
Is this speak against this class?
Yes, and the motion, I like the general tenor of the motion, but I'm going to move to substitute for Tarrant County with Nacogdoches, Texas. And the Fredonia Hotel, space permitted, and no cost to LP, Texas.
Yeah, we got to ask for money when we show up.
Did you have to get money?
No, but I was going to say that I was supposed to be in money.
Is there a second to this amendment?
Can we also change the date in November?
Not at this time.
Okay.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second. Is there a debate on this?
Yes.
Yes. You want to speak from here?
Yes, if we're gonna go to rural county, let's go to rural county. We were just at Dallas Fort Worth, our last meeting, so we don't need to go back up there again. But the rural East Texas people do need to have some, see us there and show an interest there. The Fredonia Hotel is a great venue. We've heard talk about wanting to have a rural convention in 2020. Well, here's a chance to see one where we could actually test this and see if this is what we want to do. At no cost to LP Texas, well, I would work with the Nacogdoches County Party and find ways to raise the money. If we haven't been able to raise the money, and we will, by the September meeting, then we can change our mind.
Okay. Ms. Wilker?
It's my understanding that the Fredonia is under construction. So I would hope that, I guess, is it in order to make an amendment?
You can make a amendment to this amendment, but you can't amend anything else.
Okay, I meant to amend to strike the Fredonia Hotel, just in case.
Are you clear on that?
Don't add the words just in case.
No, thank you, Is this your amendment?
Yes.
We are two amendments deep, people. If it is, we can't have any more.
So, point of information, does anybody here know what the state of the Fredonia Hotel is at this moment, or what its prospects are for being out of construction?
Do you know, Ms. Glass?
Yes, after our committee planning meeting just this week, I said I thought it was under construction, and Anastasia said, she called and they didn't mention that. So I went on the website and all of the under construction stuff was gone and they were taking reservations. So I think they're okay.
All right, did we hear a second to this? I forgot.
Second.
We did, okay. Is this debate?
Yes, it's against the amendment.
I'm sorry?
I'm against the amendment.
You're against the amendment?
I think that we have already had offers from putting the $500 towards the meeting in Tarrant County. And I think that, you know, with the $500 with Lubbock and the $500 being offered from Tarrant County, I don't see any reason why we would want to reject that offer when in Pelias Nacogdoches, when we don't really know for sure who or what in Nacogdoches is going to be able to make that same $500 offer. I mean, we're being offered the $500 for sure if you vote for Tarrant County. If you change it to Nacogdoches, there's no guarantee of the $500.
I'm going to go back to Ms. Wilford if she wants the floor to speak for her motion. I never asked her to ask her for that.
Just in case.
Did you? Okay, well, then that's fine. Is there any other debate on this?
Okay, point of information, we're only talking about removing at the Fredonia Hotel at this moment, right?
Yes, that's all we're talking
about.
I'm against this just for one simple reason. The at no cost LP is still there. I love the idea of hitting different counties. I don't think we should go back to the same one over and over again because we get to see new places and meet new people. But just on this amendment, the at no cost LP Texas, that I would have erased. So I can't vote for that one.
And that's not this amendment.
Yeah.
I see what you're
He's just
saying.
saying that he thinks it should be that way. Correct?
Otherwise, I would be all for it.
So, with no other debate, we'll proceed to a motion. Okay, so I'm going to clarify a little here to tell you what we're talking about. We're talking about changing the amendment we're considering to strike these words at the Fredonia Hotel. And that's all we're discussing. Our next vote, unless something changes, will be to adopt the amendment, and then we have to take a vote on adopting the motion. So, all in favor of striking these three words forward, raise your hand. All opposed to striking these words? That passes. Your next is the main amendment. Is there any more debate on the main amendment? Yes.
Wait, the main amendment? Yeah, I would like to speak against it if I can.
You want to speak?
Okay. So obviously that is nothing like I proposed because it's like a completely other side of the state and it doesn't do anything for what I'm trying to accomplish here. In our county, we are working very hard. We've got a lot of very active people. And if every time we go and we propose something for our area, Dallas County is not Tarrant County. We work closely with Dallas County, but that is not our area. If every time I have to go back and tell people, no, SLEC voted this down, even though we've got donors in our state, in our county, we've got active voters going on in there, we are disenfranchising active, motivated people. And you all know, if you're paying attention, that we are an extremely active county. We reach out into the communities. We even have people coming down from Tarrant County, not a part of SLEC, to be here and participate. It happened at the last meeting, and if we do this, some of the other work that we're doing to grow the party in Tarrant County at an executive level is going to encourage other groups that we're working with to show up and get involved at a level that they feel is going to be doing something positive. And I'm just, honestly, I'm offended by this. We can go Nacogdoches another time, because whoever is representing Nacogdoches is not here saying it's not going to be any cost. We have someone from another county speaking for them. And I don't know, I mean, because this was supposed to be no cost, but we got a donation bucket, a shiny silver donation bucket back. That's not no cost. That's saying, hey, give us money anyway. So I don't see the logic in that.
Thank you. Is there anyone else to debate on this issue? Hearing no debate, we'll proceed to a vote on the amendment. All in favor of this amendment, raise your hand. All opposed to this amendment? The amendment fails. All right, we are back to the main motion as originally adopted. Mr. Chairman, we could probably throw into yes, call the question. Okay. Let's get the question.
Is it too late to call for to divide the question?
I'm sorry?
Is it too late to call to divide the question?
Call for division.
We haven't voted on whether to call.
Well, we have. There's a call for division is not privileged enough. We're not for it. All right, we have the in Tarrant County with Dallas and Tarrant County. Okay, back to the original. All right, and there's been a motion to call the question. Is there a second to call the question?
Second.
Is there an objection to calling the question?
Yes.
Objection.
There's a second. All in favor of calling the question, raise your hand. All opposed? That does not make you carry. All right, so we are back to the amendment. Is there debate?
May I amend? I would like to, in place of Lubbock, insert Bear County.
Okay. So we're starting with the word Lubbock and starting with Bear County. Is there any debate on this amendment? Well, is there a debate? Mr. Dale, do you want to speak to your amendment?
Lubbock's a pretty expensive trip. I think Bear County hasn't had a meeting very recently and would much be friendlier to the vast majority of our members.
Okay. Were you seeing your request?
I think the intent of choosing Lubbock is actually get up in the panhandle a little bit further without going all the way to Amarillo. It's a mid spot between West Texas and the end of the world. That was the original intent. I think it was a good, and Lubbock is a pretty happening city up there. And it's a great, if you haven't been to Lubbock, it's pretty interesting.
Point of information.
You had to go for a while. But I think the intent was to get some range and show some presence in the panhandle as we're building counties up in that area.
I'll get your point of information real quick. In just a second.
May I
did
rebut?
you move to strike this as well?
Yes, yes, anything relating to Lubbock.
So you did move to strike all
Yes,
this?
yes. May I just make a quick rebuttal?
Okay.
Okay,
Well, no, sorry, you're asking me a little bit. Give a point of information.
When was the last time we were even in Lubbock? Just a question.
I don't know the answer to that.
I think that's the answer that I was looking for.
That's why even.
I'd like to speak against this amendment, speaking as somebody that's from Bear County, and the person who's making the motion is not from Bear County. Not that Bear County wouldn't love to host SLEC, as we have in the past, and we certainly have one of the highest bank accounts of any of the county parties, not that I'm bragging. But we really don't want to obligate Bear County to hosting it until we talk to the county executive committee of Bear County. So while I admire the spirit, and I think the confidence Mr. Leone has in Bear County for saying that we will host it September the 9th, I think we've already had the offer from Lubbock, paid, to provide the $500, and I would like to see us not just always go to the 4 major cities and spread the love around and move it around to other parts of the state. So I think we should, accept the offer from Lubbock as it is and stop trying to change the entire motion.
Asking Mr. Golson first, asking you to look for them.
Just to answer a question that was answered previously, the very best of my memory and knowledge, if we ever had a meeting in Lubbock, it was before the middle of 2001.
Okay. Ms. Wilford?
Call the question.
All
pending questions.
All pending questions.
Second.
There is a second. Is there objection to calling all pending questions? There is an objection. All in favor of calling all pending questions, raise your hand. All opposed? That passes. All right, we're going to start with the amendment here. All in favor of this amendment, raise your hand. All opposed? That's opposed. We're going to move to the main motion. All in favor of.
Is it too late to ask for date changes?
Yes.
I've been asking to do that, just for the record.
Don't vote to call the question.
You did get the floor, and then we
called.
At this time, we will move to a vote on the main motion. All in favor of the main motion, raise your hand. Opposed? Motion passes. So, move to adjourn.
Second.
Move to adjourn, second.
Point of information,
Point of information.
would any essential business in the opinion of the chair be left undone if we adjourn?
Let's pull back up the agenda.
Oh, 3 minutes until 4.
Okay, so things still
Still
have
have 3
the
minutes.
policy committee report. I do believe there were motions pending. Was that?
No, we still have 3 minutes. We're not supposed to adjourn.
National Platform Committee appointee, motion related to motion related to the vice chair of the LNC, motion to collect direct donations for county binders.
I hear nothing essentially, so I'm calling the question.
It's not.
It's a motion to
What question?
adjourn.
So,
Adjournment, but you don't need
all
to.
in favor of adjourning, raise your hand. All opposed to adjourning? I think I found how many counted, because that was important. All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. All in.
15, behind you.
15. Sorry, 15 in favor of adjourning. All opposed to adjourning? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. That fails.
I move to accept Dan Boggs' motion, which he submitted on form, I believe.
I think we need to go back to the agenda right now. We're going to move into policy committee reports. Mr. Thompson?
I move to suspend the rules to take up the agenda item of motions related to the vice chair of the LNC.
Okay. There's a motion and a second to suspend the agenda to take up the second to last item, motion to the vice chair of the LLC. Is there objection to that motion?
Object.
All in favor of that, raise your hand. All opposed? reach 2/3, I don't know that it has. I think count this. All in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I'm sorry?
How many are present? I know one is left.
We will get to a quorum check right after. 19, anyone back here? No. All, go ahead, 19 in favor of suspending the rules, all opposed to suspending the rules. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That fails.
How many did we need?
We needed 2/3. We need to have as many in favor as we had it.
2/3 of what?
2/3 of those voting. Mr. Glass.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Mm,
I'm gonna call that dilatory. Nothing substantive has changed since the last motion.
I will respond to that by saying I voted against adjournment a minute ago because I wanted to take up the Vora issue. If we can't take up the Vora issue, I want to adjourn.
All right, fair point. All right, motion to adjourn, second. All in favor of adjournment, raise your hand. All opposed? That fails. All right, we will move to committee reports.
I move to suspend the rules and take up the motion from Anastasia Wilford to accept directed donations for county binders.
Second. Okay. All right, I think these motions will be make this a little bit easier, but, yes, we'll entertain this motion. This is the motion made and that is proper. All right, there's a motion and a second to suspend the rules. All in favor of suspending the rules for that purpose, raise your hand. All opposed? That fails to reach 2/3. We'll now move to committee reports. Arthur, want to?
We have a motion.
Yes.
I move that we suspend with the committee reports and just move on with the rest of the agenda.
Move to strike committee reports
Object.
from the agenda. There's objection. Not at this point. We are,
oh, so sorry.
we are moving to suspend the rules.
I'm so sorry, Arthur.
All in favor of striking policy committee report from the agenda, raise your hand.
Is this not debatable?
No, a motion to suspend the agenda is not available. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Got 20. All opposed to striking that report. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I'm going to vote nay, which makes it fail. So we will move to policy committee report.
Okay. Oh, Whitney's not here.
I'm Ms. Glass first.
Go ahead, Ms. Glass.
I move to postpone this to the next meeting.
Move to postpone to the next meeting.
Yes.
I think that is only majority. All in favor of postponing this report to the next meeting?
Point of
raise-
information.
Point of information.
If this fails, what happens?
We go to.
But Whitney's not here. I mean, is someone else prepared to present this?
What do you mean?
Okay, that's my question.
Yeah, okay. Yes. Yes, this is debatable. I'm sorry. We can debate this one. Ms. Glass, do you want to speak to your motion?
Yes, Whitney Billy is not here. There's many changes to the policy committee manual that's in play. Some of them are, they haven't been discussed on the forum that I see. And some of them are insignificant. It might not be controversial, although you never know. Some are very controversial, and it will take time, and we will be here for quite a long time if we take this up now.
There's one new policy, there's 7 policies that didn't get dealt with the last meeting and effectively postponed. Well, the motion was postponed. So these have been around for over 5 months and they've been sitting in the meeting folder. Everyone's had time to look at them. The one motion was supposed to conform, but I think all the other ones are. They aren't I don't consider it controversial, that's y'all's opinion on it, but we're gonna postpone these for over half a year now. It's simple stuff. If you don't like it, vote against it. I'm not asking for a lot of debate. Just look at it and vote on it. Like, the policy committee sat through meetings to get these done, and if you don't care about them, that's your business, but, I don't know, this is something we need to, seems like we should take care of.
I just want to speak against postponement and echo all the things that Arthur said. We have had ample time to discuss these policy proposals, and they're things that will make the day-to-day functioning of the party easier. That's all.
All right, if there's no more debate, all in favor of postponing this report to the next meeting, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. All opposed to postponement. That's going to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. That fails, we will now move to policy committee reports.
Hello.
I want to say something real quick before we go into that. There was a call earlier for quorum. I do recognize a quorum.
I was just looking for a count. I didn't know if it was going to change that particular vote.
Oh,
and
no,
it
no,
wouldn't
no.
have, so.
Okay, please go ahead.
The first policy change is to make it so that our current policy makes it seem like we have to give emails to every person. And all this does is change the wording so that we may get a staff email. It makes it not mandatory because we aren't giving emails to every staff. So that's all the policy does. I can read it if I want.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Are you done with that?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. There's a motion by Troy Bonner to accept this motion on the screen. There's a second. Let me ask real quick. Is there any objection to this motion? I hear no objection.
Yay.
All right.
Did something.
What's the next one?
We have an existing coalition policy which directs how we go through that process to make sure this body receives proper notice. The only requested change that we add in here is to take the 14-day minimum notice, which is basically a time buffer, 14 days, and reduce it down to 7. So there'd be instead of 14-day waiting period, it'd be 7 days.
I have a substitute amendment, or a substitute motion. I move that we completely get rid of this coalition part of our policy.
Okay. That, yes, we can do that. All right, is there a second to completely strike this policy? There's a second. Ms. Wilford, is yours debate? What are you?
It's point of information, what the effect of that would be, of striking the whole thing.
It means we don't have a policy plank on coalitions.
So my question is, if we were to seek to form coalitions, would we just be able to do that willy-nilly? Would it have to be voted by SLEC? That's my.
My understanding of our rules is that you would need to come back to SLEC to get that coalition.
Okay, that's my.
And, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm happy to speak in favor of my motion.
Yeah, but I do want to say, I interpreted it the same as well, because it was selected ultimately, kind of authorized over here. Please, Mr. Vance.
Yeah, in general, after I've watched kind of the way the coalition process has happened, I've decided that formally forming coalitions on the part of the Libertarian Party of Texas with others is just not a big deal. It's not a thing that's really that good. I do wholeheartedly believe that we as individual members of Libertarian Party of Texas should get involved in the organizations that we have an affinity with, and that we should display a presence of the Libertarian Party of Texas too. But in general, it's like if the organization is worthwhile, they don't really want us to be part of their coalition. And to a certain extent, the ones that aren't worthwhile, if they want us to be in it, it's not going to be that effective. And I just think we ought to do it. The whole benefit for me of coalitions has been that we interact with people. They form a positive impression of the Libertarian Party of Texas, and then we are more likely to grow as a result. That happens informally, and it happens, it doesn't require process and votes and all that stuff. We just go out and start doing it. And I just don't see all the formality and all the bureaucracy around this is necessary. That's why I'm making this motion.
The value of some of these coalitions is being able to list all the things that are part of the coalition. It gives them weight, for example, testifying before the legislature and that sort of thing. So what Tom's talking about is correct. You know, the real work is actually roll up your sleeves and work on the coalition. But there is some value to having a formal recognition that we, along with whoever the other coalition partners are listed. That have some additional weight when testifying with them.
Is there any more debate?
Point of information, clarity, whatever. When you said if an organization is worthwhile, they won't want to partner with us. What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, if they're, when I say worthwhile, what I mean by that is effective at lobbying in particular. A lot of this coalition building has to do with lobbying. And I think Open Carry Texas or Texas State Rifle Association, because I'm a firearms guy, I think of those organizations. Texas State Rifle Association would never dare to get involved with the Libertarian Party, right? Open Carry Texas, I just haven't seen them form in a coalition. They just do their own thing. And so that's what I was thinking is these kind of established organizations that lobby, a lot of them don't want to have anything to do with the Libertarian Party of Texas.
Because
that's part of my frustration as running as campaigns, in the past, is because they don't pay us any mind. And so that's kind of where I was coming from on that. By the way, I will come back to respond to Mark's question here a second ago, and that is, if we decide, yeah. Okay, I was just answering that. Okay, good.
I'm going to recognize you next, but I want to ask, is Chris Jag in the room right now? Can we, does anyone know the details? I'm not sure the details around this room. If there's a hard stop, is anyone aware of that? Okay, we can continue on debate, but if somebody could please.
I'll go ask.
Yeah, go ask what the deal is there. Ms. Bailey.
I just wanted to say that one of the coalitions that we worked with in this particular session was MPP. And I do think that MPP, has a solid reputation at being a good lobbying organization. They really have their act together. They really know what they're doing. And by working with those sorts of organizations, LP Texas can learn a lot. So I do find and see value in forming coalitions and having an avenue to be able to do that if we have opportunities during the legislative session or things like that come up.
I don't like having policies, just got policies. It's not fun either. I think this policy is really for us. A lot of what we talk about is ways of making sure that our staff and parts of the party are communicating with each other. And that's what really this policy is for, is to make sure that we don't have some undefined system where people go off and do things and no one's notified about it. This policy was here to make sure that we get proper notice. Even if things are making coalitions with organizations that don't matter, that do matter, whatever, that's irrelevant to me as much as making sure people are communicating.
I guess Mr. Glass is working with organizations that don't think the LP is good enough for them. That's what I get out of that. I don't think that's a good judgment call to make. I think we've seen a lot of value in our coalitions. They've seen a lot of value with us. Not only can we learn a lot from these coalitions, but we can also raise our profile when we are making coalitions with organizations in Texas. So, I don't know. I have a high opinion of the Libertarian Party. I guess that's not shared, but I don't see that as a good.
It's out of order to speculate on what is
That's what he said.
Anyway. In the back, Ms. Myers.
I'd like to keep this policy because I agree that if we are going to have coalitions formed where Libertarian Party of Texas is putting its name officially behind that this is something that we do in an official capacity. And I understand what Mr. Less's point is about we can do that individually, which is true. We can always do this individually. But if you take away this, and you're taking away our ability to form these coalitions officially, and this is a mechanism by which that we can do this, and this is a valuable thing for the Libertarian Party of Texas to do. So I don't think it's a good idea to get rid of this.
Mr. Golson?
I have a question. Does our de facto legislative director in the Aggie shirt over there have anything to say about this?
May I ask a point of information first? Does this take away our ability to have coalitions?
What it would do, it would require SLEC to approve them individually.
We still have. So my thoughts are, as long as we can still have coalitions, because they are vital, there is no way we can do this job right now without working with other people. It is impossible. We will never get anything through the legislature, especially when we don't have people in office. So we need to have coalitions. But if it will expedite the process, I'm for reducing the time frame.
Well, the most right now is constructible policy.
And the policy would make it so, what is the time frame for a select meeting to? an
Every
online select meeting?
quarter.
I have no idea what this is, but an online meeting could be called in 72 hours, and an electronic vote would essentially be over in 4 to 5 days, correct? So theoretically, it could be done in less time than the amendment to this policy is allowing for.
Possibly.
Okay.
As a county representative and regional representative for Libertarian Party, I would like to know different coalitions so that I can advertise that as well.
Okay, and I think we have a coalition. I'm gonna ask our operations director, is the coalition page up and listing our coalitions currently? I know there was some website work to do that.
I can check.
Okay, I think it is. Okay.
Troy, I'll get with you.
All right. I'm seeing no more debates. We can proceed to a vote on Mr. Glass's amendment to the motion, which would strike everything. All in favor of Mr. Glass's amendment, raise your hand. All opposed? That passes.
Division.
Now to division.
Division.
Division. All in favor of Mr. Glass' amendment, please stand. All opposed to the amendment, please stand. That passes. All right, now to the adoption of it. We have now put Tom's motion in place of this. All in favor of adopting his motion?
Point of information, I'm confused. I thought since Tom's motion passes, there,
He made a substitute. So we moved to substitute
Okay.
his motion for this motion. Now we're gonna. All in favor of adopting Mr. Glass's motion?
Point of information?
Yes.
Could you just restate that, or could we see it in writing, specifically what the wording is that we're,
Yeah, so right here.
just remove this section?
Yeah, we're gonna strike every bit of text that exists in this section of policy.
So we would remove the process of developing new coalitions section from the policy manual?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, all in favor of adopting this motion, raise your hand. All opposed to adopting this motion? The motion passes.
Okay.
The legislative agenda policy, we talked with the officers and the department's office. It's basically a new policy that would go over how we plan our legislative agenda, which I'm sure y'all know we've had discussion over in the past, but we're doing it last minute and confusion about who's doing what we're supporting. So this tries to give a little bit of framework to make sure that's communicated better with this committee and who's in charge of what.
Is there any discussion on this? I see no discussion. All in favor of this amendment? Or, let me ask, is there any objection to this amendment? There are no objection. It passes. It was moved by the committee.
Okay.
Okay, this one, basically is just the addition to the current staff policy that allows people not to go through the entire interview process again, like they were doing from scratch. Just shortcuts to allow the directors to do interviews. It just makes it easier to move people that are already in staff positions to do that. Without making some rigorous process, you have to start from scratch.
All right. Is there any debate on this motion? Is there any objection to this motion? Motion passes.
John, you asked me to check. There is no one scheduled in this room after us, so we have the room.
Thank you.
Great.
Slumber party.
I'm gonna sleep under it. You can.
The janitor's about to.
The special projects policy, this deals with, it would remove one motion that we made back in January and gave John a lot of authority to make, what I call special projects, I guess.
Direct donation projects we've called it in the past, but
So there's been an ongoing discussion, and I can speak for myself, I have a concern that sometimes people say, well, we'll just do a direct project and sort of skirt around sort of our normal processes of doing things. This special projects policy will basically say, this is how you establish a direct donation project or project in Texas. And it just comes up with a formal way of doing that, and proposing to this body to do it. It just sets out what the proper procedure for doing that mistake. It's going over to direct donation. It removes his power, which we should really do.
all right, is there any discussion on this motion?
Request for information. How would the passing of this motion affect Anastasia's motion regarding directed donations?
Yeah, so actually, under the current power that I have now as granted by SLEC in a previous motion, we could have just gone ahead and done that. And in fact, it was a discussion between the officers and directors in which Arthur, I think, brought up the objection that he didn't like the way it was done. So the motion was really just her coming to SLEC and saying, I would like to do this. I know we could do it if we wanted to, but we want to reach SLEC, we want SLEC's input, and we want them to go ahead and approve it. So I don't think it would affect anything because she's just asked, she wants to bring the whole body. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Mr. Fox?
I'll just say that this motion is proof that John Wilbur is not Kurt Hillary.
All right, is there any more discussion on this? Is there any objection to this motion? All right, well, this motion passes. Oh, I'm sorry.
I was celebrating.
Point of information, how many of these remain?
How many are
Oh, wait.
This one and two more.
The next one is about, it's just cleanup. We found a violation with our rules, it's just removing the thing that's a violation of rules. In our policy, we try to require the majority vote of the entire select to add select members, we obviously are doing that, it's just cleanup. So,
Move to accept.
Second.
Second. Is there any objection? No objection. All right. Just as a point of, just let you know so we can speed things along. As soon as he reads the motion, the committee is moving it. So We don't need to move to accept, we can just say, is there objection? And go forward.
This is temporary chair voter verification. This is the process we require doing, which is updating your policy to do it. It takes out in writing, we don't think that's necessary, but it adds in the policy that we need to verify their voter registration. Some of y'all that were around, that was an issue that came up, so we're just modifying the policy and make, put it in our policy that we need to do this.
It's good.
Ms. Glass?
I'm going from memory here, but and I can't see it. Does this say that it you verify voter registration information, something like as soon as possible, as opposed to before they're appointed?
Yeah, so here is, I'll read the sentence that includes that portion. All temporary county chair appointments are provisional pending the verification of applicants' voter registration, submission of minutes from county's first business meeting, and adopted bylaws within 90 days. So this just says they cannot become a permanent county chair without verification. Is that correct?
Basically, yes. So we need verification and we need business.
And I want to move to amend this to make it clear that they should not be appointed if they have not submitted proof of voter registration in the county that they are supposed to be county.
So you're
I
thinking
can't
of-
see it close enough to
Point of information, this is the policy for the temporary chair,
Right.
so you're saying that even the temporary chair should not be appointed until we have verification of the voter registration? Okay.
Yeah,
So, let me ask, with this-
May I approach, Your Honor?
Sidebar.
He does have a cap.
So maybe, let me find the best place. Okay, I think here. So, let's, you mind if I stick this in a word document real quick? Okay.
Oh. Try.
You weren't trying to do anything with regard to the handwriting, right? No. Handwriting, and then, and then this was part of the original motion, so you're substituting strike that, and then this one here. Yeah, keep moving.
Registration in the applicant.
I'm gonna read through this one time, so we don't So it will be, if we adopt this, we have to adopt the substitute for consideration and actually adopt it. Because if that happens, it will read, interviews for county chair positions will be conducted by no fewer than 3 people and must include an officer, the county coordinator is filled, and any other officer or select member. Interviews may be conducted individually or at the same time in person or by teleconference. All members of the interview panel must submit interview notes for reference. All members of the interview panel must agree unanimously to make a temporary chair appointment. The final approval from the chair. No temporary county chair appointments will be made without verification of the applicant's voter registration in the applicable county. All temporary county chair appointments are provisional pending submission from the county's first business meeting and adopted bylaws within 90 days.
I don't want to do it now, but
So this is the substitute, is there discussion on it?
Just a little cleanup to capitalize county chair for consistency. No problem. There we go. I accomplished something.
Okay, with that said, any discussion? Any objection? We are now have this motion before us. Any objection to actually adopting the motion?
Objection.
Objection.
Yeah, I have an amendment to make to this, the current motion. And that is, I would like to strike all temporary, everything that starts, the sentence that starts with all temporary county chair appointments or provisional. In other words, someone strike that whole last sentence about provisional appointment.
That's right there.
Yeah.
Second.
And I'll speak to that. This again, this provision was an innovation, in my opinion, an improper innovation on the rules. The rules say you appoint a temporary chair, and then it says that there's ambiguity in the rules right now about when you become a permanent chair. I have always assumed that you become a permanent chair when you get elected at the next county deal. There's some people who have said along the way that well, you can't have a formal meeting and elect yourself a permanent chair to take yourself out of the temporary deal. But I don't think there's any authorization in the rules for the chair to make a provisional thing the way Kurt was doing. And so I just want to get this out of the policy. That's why I'm doing it.
Okay. That's right. Is there someone to speak against? Yes, no, you want to speak against? Okay. Well,
did you make a ruling on, or how was the ruling determined that someone becomes a permanent chair after they've done it?
yeah, so I guess, can I give a short history on this? That you are a temporary chair, and that's reflecting words in election code, until you are elected by your county. And the ambiguity, the question before us is, can that be done at any business meeting as is done when a county chair resigns, let's say? Or is it necessary that that be done at the next county convention? And it has the reason that's an important question for us is we can, as a body, just remove a temporary county chair. We cannot do that with a permanent or an elected county chair. We went through, we had some discussion on it, I made a ruling, there was more discussion, and out of that, this policy came. And the effect would be to strike all this and kind of put us back to where we were before this was done. Is that?
Well, I mean, the thing is, I think it's improper for a chair when he appoints a temporary chair to say there's provisions to it. Under our current rules, the body that can remove a temporary chair is SLEC. And essentially, that was a power grab by Kirk as chair to the chair to give him more power over what happens in that county after he's made a temporary chair appointment, instead of going to SLEC the way he should. This does not address, this amendment does not address the issue of when a formal election occurs. And so that issue will continue to be in question. This just gets rid of the, an improper delegation of power to the chair under our current rules, in my opinion.
I've seen you back there for a while.
I was just going to say, when this came up originally, I was actually on the opposite side of the issue of what Tom's advocating for now. And having had ample time, because these motions have been around for quite a while, to review our rules, Texas election code, I've actually come around and I think is absolutely right.
Is there someone to speak against? Point of information.
What is the current status of the rule? Whether someone becomes
We didn't really explicitly do a ruling on that. This adoption was our decision making. The body decided when it adopted this. Ms. Glass.
As a practical matter, this is a real killer, because if we applied this, our counties, our new temporarily appointed chairs are not doing this. So if we strictly applied this, we go from 60 counties, I don't know, to 50 or maybe 40, because they're just not doing it. So you can't make it, you do it or you're out. I think what we can do, if we just delete this, the chair can tell them when I appoint you, I expect you to do this. And if you don't do it, I will bring the matter to SLEC's attention and ask them to remove you. I think that is consistent with our rules. It gets the point across without tying our hands and saying, oh, well, we just lost a third of our counties.
I'm going to say, because something has occurred to me in one of this discussion. In giving the history, I think I was speaking to the wrong debate. I think the debate right now is mostly over this 90 days provision.
Yes.
And whether this policy can even do that. So I just want to be clear on that, because I was more speaking to when that meeting occurs and that sort of stuff. Is there anyone else seeking to be recognized? Now, is there any objection to adopting this amendment? I'm hearing no, sir.
I just, this is probably a dumb question, but the way that the election code is written, the temporary chair is fine to host the convention.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. And in fact, the election code, the point of the election code, when you start to read it, is how do you jumpstart a county that doesn't have a county chair?
Okay, thank you.
So is there any objection to this amendment? I hear no objection. We can now, unless there's anything else, proceed to actually voting on these changes to the policy. Is there any objection to this change to the policy? So we could go.
We got another difficult one coming.
Don't ruin the mood, man.
Okay, the last one is the one that is the latest. The development that postponement, I would understand. It basically simplifies the current residency policy, so that I basically verify against the voter registration card when I check it. And it just simplifies it as getting the second. Well, we had a lot of debate in the policy committee. Well, we're trying to really be sure that someone lives in the area with a voter registration card. If they go to them for change a voter registration card, they can change utility bill or anything else pretty easily. So we basically came to the determination we just have to check in the voter registration card. And the other stuff is just sort of excessive. And I have difficulty for some people too, which is a problem.
I move to table this until our next meeting.
Second. Postpone.
Oh, sorry.
Postpone to the next meeting. There was a second. Is there any discussion on postponing? Is there any objection to postponing?
Object.
We have an objection.
I'm ready to vote now.
All right. All in favor of postponing this to the next meeting, raise your hand. All opposed? That passes. Mr. Vice.
I move to suspend the rules to bring up next the motions related to the vice chair of the LNC.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. This requires a can we pull the agenda up? I think we're all So we are pulling up. Yeah, we're pulling this percent in here. Is there any objection to this suspension? There's, all in favor of this suspension, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 19. All opposed to this objection, raise your hand. To the suspension. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I called 19, 12, 13. I called 19 earlier, right?
Yep.
It fails. Ms. Watts?
I'd like to adjourn.
Second.
All right. All in favor of adjourning, raise your hand. All opposed? We are adjourned, folks.
This SLEC stuff is hard work.
First, I want to thank everybody. We have a lot of business today. But secondly, I want to remind everybody that the local county party has donated this to us, and I don't know if you started taking it, but if you are still wanting to donate, if you want to let me know, I can get you in touch with Mr. Jack. And I wish you could if we can go out.
He was first.
You know what Wayne Newton said?
Yeah, by the way. You know, it's kind of funny. If you look at the lore, they kind of snap the movie because they talk about how he got all this money to do that day off. Well, one of the scenes stole his dad's bonds, and so he stole all these bonds. And there was a scene where he stole these bonds to go on his little joy thing. But it was like, yeah, that makes him look like a criminal. So they just kind of left how he got that money kind of up in the air. They didn't address it. Exactly.
And of course, the dad would have a car like he's so rich.
Also, because of COVID, search Facebook. A lot of people don't remember to search other Facebook profile and get
Oh, okay, well, that was good to see you. Yeah, I go. That was offensive.
Yes. Stephen, I was already looking for hotels for Lubbock, and a lot of them are already sold out, or a few rooms remaining. There's a big tennis tournament.
Yeah, that weekend. Oh, Carrie will figure it out.
So finding a space, finding rooms maybe.
Excuse me.
I'm in the way.
Thanks, Ron.
Thank you.
Thursday. We need to.
Yeah, the cards, we are going. Yeah, there was some weirdness today.
So the next one.
It's
Run through the jungle.
Yeah, that was very strange. Totally fucked it up. I know. And then you got. He did that to me when I took some stuff and put it on our forum too. I don't know why, but same thing. Well, you gotta write it down. If
I'm
you
not sure where, but with
It's because people are. It really is. That's what happened.